This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No. Always live. Always real. Always unpredictable.
You with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I'm in. Tori just won't let it go.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's too loud. It's too loud. It was too loud. Let's take it again. Ready? Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, April 2nd. We're live. We're talking about what you're talking about right now. I am here with Stephanie, Bo, Brandon. I am Tori. Sam is on assignment. Let's get this started. There is a manhunt underway right now for the suspect police say murdered 33-year-old rapper Nipsey Hussle outside his clothing store in Los Angeles on Sunday. This is 29-year-old Eric Holder, who police identified late yesterday as the suspect. They are desperately trying to find him before, get this, a reported hit is carried out. Meantime, at least 19 people were injured at a vigil for Hussle last night, and 4 are hospitalized after a stampede. Police aren't sure what caused the panic, but initial reports of gunshots at the vigil apparently were not true, according to the police chief. There's been rumors some glass broke. People thought gunshot. We've had shootings before. I think people were on high alert anyway, and really trampling can cause death in certain areas, so we have 2 people in critical condition.
Yes, you always got to worry about crowds.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, stampeding, and thankfully it wasn't gunshots.
Oh, I know.
Because I think it's unfortunate that a man who was trying to advocate against violence, who came from violence, you don't want to see that perpetuated. You really don't. So you see someone who's obviously drawn attention, trying to bring STEM, trying to do the right thing for his community, and
so many people came out that it almost caused, that says something about your life, that many people came out.
And it just goes to show that a lot of people are like, oh, who is this guy?
Yeah.
We don't know him. We don't know his music. Just think of what he was going to do. He was going to own Crenshaw. All the different, he and Dave Gross, who's a real estate mogul, they were buying up all these properties. Like I said yesterday, he brought a fat burger to the hood, to Crenshaw, and designed the uniforms. He was just doing so much, and so many people loved him. And I encourage people to go and look at the vlog that he had. There's a series, and how he would go around and he'd help people. He'd give homeless people money, take them, get them shaved up. And it's unfortunate that he died in the place where he used to hustle from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah, you make a really good point about the fact that we're going to have to remember him posthumously now when we don't know what he could have done. 33, he could have done so much. What a visionary. Well, we hope you rest in power, sir, and we will be thinking about you. Deborah Norville is also asking for some prayers right now. The host of Inside Edition revealed yesterday that she's undergoing surgery to remove a cancerous tumor from her neck. Here's what Deborah said all about it.
The doctor says it's a very localized form of cancer, which tomorrow I'll have surgery to have removed. There'll be no chemo, I'm told no radiation, but I will have surgery and I'll be away for a bit. So Diane will be holding down the fort. If you believe in prayer, please say one for me and for my surgeon, and I thank you very much.
And get this, Deborah has a TV viewer to thank for all this. An eagle-eyed viewer spotted the lump on her neck and wrote into the show about it. And that's when Deborah got it checked out and has been monitoring it ever since. So DBL Nation, don't hold yourself short. You could literally save lives. This happened to an HGTV star. Someone mentioned your thyroid looks, or there's a lump. He went in, there was thyroid issues. Piers Morgan had a mole on his chest that someone saw. It was precancerous. So the viewer has some power here.
Definitely. I mean, we are so lucky to have such an amazing audience that tune in. They're always telling us the comments. They comment on our outfits.
Yeah, how good or bad they are. Like yesterday.
They're so honest. No, she looked amazing. Whoever said she didn't, I'm after you. But seriously, it's something to be taken very seriously, especially in women. Women are 2 times more likely to get thyroid cancer than men. And also, thyroid cancer really affects you at a younger age rate. So I know a few friends that have had that within the ages of being 20 to 30. Wow. And it's very prominent until you're the age of 55, and it's something that you might have a bit of a sore throat, maybe you might feel like you've got a bit of a lump in your throat. Very easy to mistake it just for a bit of a cold or allergies. Like if you get hay fever like I do, I really suffer when the pollen comes. The pollen count can really affect my throat, so it's important to check it, but there's ways you can do it.
Okay, let's see.
So first of all, you need to locate your thyroid gland. So it's between your collarbone and it's above your larynx. And with men, don't mistake it with your Adam's apple. So it's just below know that. And then what you need to do is you tilt your head back and you take a sip or have a drink of water, and then try and look in the mirror. Obviously, we've got monitors right now, so we can look in the monitors. But then if you look in the mirror as you're swallowing, and if you notice any lumps and bumps that aren't moving with the natural movement of the swallowing motion, that's something to get checked.
Oh, wow. Even if it's small, take a look.
Any kind of abnormality, even if you've just got a tickle in your throat, it's worth getting checked.
And remember, it's not just doing that, it's going to see the doctor after. So let's do that. Thank you so much, Steph. Those were life-saving, perhaps. Well, there is a controversial new clothing line possibly coming to stores near you, branded for the notorious drug kingpin El Chapo. If you recall, El Chapo Guzman was found guilty in February of drug trafficking, money laundering, and firearm possession, and now he signed over the rights to use his name for a clothing line. And the woman behind it all is reportedly his wife, a 29-year-old former beauty queen. Here she is as she walked into his trial in New York, where the new company, is also registered. But this got us talking. Would you buy El Chapo branded clothing, especially if it means his family can profit off of it? So please, guys, go over to dblvote.com, weigh in. We need your opinions here. I wouldn't, because to me that's blood money. Pablo Escobar, some people say, was a Robin Hood to his community. This guy did nothing but murder, murder, murder.
He's still killed people. He still killed over 1,000 cops. Because just because the right hand was doing evil and the left hand was doing some good, that's still blood money.
There's no reason
you were aiding, abetting this kingpin, this murder, if you bought.
He's locked away. He's locked away for 23 hours a day. But she's out now, and now that remember they seized that $14 billion that we wanted to use to fund the wall. Remember what she's going to do for money now? They have kids, so this is a legal means for her to make money. And just think of that Pablo Escobar mugshot. We couldn't even get that cleared to show on the show. So that merchandise, pillows, mugs.
Isn't this bizarre? I mean, this got to feel wrong when you're saying this. Merchandise, pillows. These guys were murderers.
It's not going to go that far. It's going to be a fashion clothing line, and I'm telling you now, it's going to be big.
Really?
I honestly think
you're our fashion person. You really see there's a demo for this?
I think there's going to be a huge demo for this. I think it's going to be incredibly niche, but I think people glorify criminals. We see people writing into murderers that are on death row. I think there's going to be a lot of young kids or people maybe that have come from, that are in unfortunate situations, that are dealing with things that maybe they do idolize him. And I know it's not a good thing to say.
Societally, I'm just like, it's hip-hop generation.
But he wants to do something that's a legitimate business for his wife and his 2 daughters. That's it now. He's locked up for life. She's 29. She's got a family.
But do you have to create a fashion line called El Chapo?
Right, it's literally profiting.
It's not like
let's ask DBL Nation. What does DBL Nation think?
DBL Nation feels 60% yes, you would buy El Chapo branded.
I'm telling you now.
I'm stunned.
I'm stunned.
If you watch Boardwalk Empire or Narcos, it's the same thing as buying a shirt.
If she called it like Little Fashionista or whatever else, it's not going to do the same. The power is in the name.
All right. Well, let me know what you guys think.
We're here.
I'm going to laugh at you if you wear that. All right. Right now, the New York Police Department confirms it is investigating allegations against magician David Blaine. Let's get right to Kelly Schubert with the details.
Tori, right now, David Blaine is under investigation by the NYPD over sex assault allegations made by 2 women. And Tori, the New York Post reports one of those women says the magician hypnotized her into compliance. Now, both accusers say they were attacked by Blaine more than 20 years ago, so the allegations are outside of the statute of limitations, making it unclear how the NYPD will proceed. So far, David Blaine has not commented on the accusations. Tori, I'll of course keep you updated.
Wow. Well, we are tracking the winners and the losers from yesterday's April Fool's Day pranks, and Dr. Phil might have won when he tweeted out these pictures, making everyone think he shaved off his famous mustache. But to all those who are gullible enough to believe him, he cleared it up with this.
April Fools, you didn't really think I would do it, right? I'd look like an aardvark if I took this off.
But we're not so sure he's right, because he looks like an aardvark without the stash. Check this side-by-side out.
Hey, Arthur.
Is that what Arthur is?
Arthur the Aardvark.
Right, but if you ask us, he looks more like Danny DeVito's penguin. There is a strong similarity there. But yesterday's prank have a lot of people angry with Justin Bieber. The singer started the day off by posting this sonogram photo with the caption, "Congratulations, the legacy continues." Bieber then posted this picture of his wife Haley at what appears to be a doctor's appointment, writing, "If you thought it was April Fool's, think again," which led a bunch of fans to think he was being serious. But finally, Bieber posted this sonogram with a puppy revealing his joke. But a lot of people were not laughing. One person tweeted, honestly, not a funny joke when millions of women are struggling with infertility and other issues of the sort. Sad. And another tweeted that she unfollowed the Biebs for his joke, saying it was not funny. All through my feed, I had people saying 1 in 8 women deal with infertility. Do not make pregnancy an April Fool's joke.
But who gets to pick where the line is drawn? Because I could get upset, or people on my timeline could be upset if you do a prank with food. You're wasting food. 48 million Americans, including 16 million children, struggle with hunger. So what about someone who traps somebody in a closet? That's a phobia. You could trigger some sort of anxiety or PTSD. So, Bo, where do we draw the line?
I think we're just overly sensitive to being offensive right now. I think people are almost looking to be offended. Now, having said that, that does not take away from the fact that the women who deal with infertility should not be legitimately upset. But, and I just personally think the Bieber prank was, I think it was overplayed. I think it's been overdone. I don't know why he's doing that. He's obviously still going through some sort of mental transition right now, and I think he should focus on that and his wife. You know, but who am I to tell him what to do?
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think he meant anything by it, but I do think pregnancy is one of those things you just don't want to walk into.
Yeah. Don't go there.
As being 37, a lot of my friends, they have problems. It's just, you don't want to go there. It's a bit tone deaf, but I do hear you. We're getting overly offended. You know, God, you guys are so rude. I'm just kidding.
Right, I've got an April Fool's. It just reminded me. Watch it again. No! I'll tell you on the break.
Tell you on the break.
I'll tell you on the break.
We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. Coming up next, the Brady Bunch house is getting an all-star reno. HGTV star Mina Starziak-Hawk takes us behind the scenes. Can she pass our Brady Bunch quiz? Plus, you, the viewer, are our 5th host. A small town is fighting over what is to include in its new sex ed curriculum, not wanting to include the LGBTQ community. So we want to know, should sex ed mention LGBTQ students? We'll share your comments coming up next.
Hi DBL Nation, Kelly Schubert with the DBL Digital team here. I'm tracking all the breaking news and what's trending right now, but let's go to the table and see what's happening over here. Hey Tori, what's going on over here?
Oh, tell it.
Yeah, tell us, Steph. Okay. What's up?
Someone said, by the way, I have a big head and wants to mention that in case I have a tumor. Thanks a lot.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's just her big head.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
No.
Right, so this is, I just remembered, it just came, you know, flashback memory. So when I was younger, but my dad has got a really big moustache, kind of like Dr. Phil. He's always had it, always. And I remember now, one year, I heard screaming, and I was like, what's going on? And I ran into my mum's bedroom, so it was my mum screaming, and she actually punched my dad because he shaved his moustache off. He got in bed, and she woke up because he tricked her in the morning, and she thought
he was an intruder.
No, he looked exactly like his brother.
Oh, she thought it was.
And she thought it was my dad's brother trying to get in bed with her. She just woke up and freaked out and like hit him and started screaming.
That's so funny because Sam said she woke up. That's hilarious. When someone changes something kind of crazy,
really made him
you look crazy different.
He does not look the same.
Who's someone? Write in. Who's someone who cannot shave their mustache or else they lose the brand?
I'd go crazy.
I say Tom Selleck. Tom
Selleck's a good one.
That's good.
I would say Steve Harvey, but he's beard.
Right.
Honestly, she was so afraid. She was screaming.
But he was known for the mustache.
Screaming.
I'd say Geraldo.
Yeah, he had the mustache.
So who out there do you think? Oh no, Alec did cut it. Hi, Sharon. So let us know, what celebrity do you think?
The mascot on the Tapatio hot sauce bottle.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
How about Mr. Pillow?
Yeah, Mr. Pillow.
The guy with Mr. Hi, Lisa. Oh, she's.
MyPillow.com?
Yeah, MyPillow.
Yeah, he can't shave it.
So we want to know which person can't shave their mustache.
It really changes.
Or to change it. John, I would be worried if you shaved. Adam, definitely. Adam.
It's like if you look.
Show Adam.
Yeah, show Adam. We're looking at pictures of him without his beard right now.
He would look very different. Yeah.
But also, look how different Brandon looks. If you look in the credits to the show, he doesn't have his little curl.
Well, Stu shaved all of his
That
for a while,
was weird.
too.
That was weird.
That was
It
creepy.
can really change your whole look.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Sex education is causing a huge battle in a small Michigan town. A transgender child is a resident, and her supporters asked the school district to update the sex ed curriculum to include mention of the LGBTQ people. But other parents pushed back and pushed back hard. They don't want any mention of transgender students and say sex ed should focus on abstinence only. So, DBL Nation, y'all are fired up. What do you think? Should sex ed in schools schools mention LGBTQ students.
All right, let's get to these comments. Genoa from Facebook says, why not leave the sex talks up to parents and counselors? It shouldn't be on the schools to decide what kids should know about all the various sex acts. Can we stop sheltering these kids? These kids know more than what we think they know. And school is supposed to be there to educate. If you're in a small town and have a small town mentality like this town that we're talking about, then you go in and talk to your parents. Your parents are going to say what they grew up knowing about sex and education.
So don't leave it to
don't leave it to the parents. Leave it to someone who's qualified to talk about this, please.
That's interesting.
Yep, and Justin from Facebook says, it's shameful that teens are being denied a proper education, but even worse are having their identities denied. Oh, I completely agree with you, Justin. You know what? Some people come from various backgrounds or families where they're not able to talk about how they identify within themselves, and I think it's so important at a critical age. You have an authoritative figure that tells you, you know what, you're absolutely normal, this is okay, and there are plenty of other people exactly the same as you all around the world. And by denying these children this information, I think it's really harmful.
Heather from Facebook says, school is for academic learning, not social engineering. No gender or sexual identity conversations belong there. Reading, writing, math, science, history, and arts are what schools should focus on. Heather, I actually agree with you. I think this is what the point that the parents were saying, which is to say, you know, it depends on what type of education you want your children to have. And there's the dynamic of whether you want parents to be teaching certain elements about identity or you want the schools to be doing that. And furthermore, there is the Grand Rapids Pride Center, which is about 20 minutes away from this district, where those conversations are happening. So I think we have to be careful about what our teachers and our educators are instructing in school and what can be done outside of that or by parents.
Really quick to that, I think that these kids will benefit more from learning about different genders and how people identify themselves than algebra. Haven't used algebra in quite some time now.
I've always thought that. Hugh from YouTube says, I think we need to learn that we are all just people, and people are different. Yeah, Hugh, I agree with you. Here's the thing. I'm not trying to be biased in my way, because I do respect people feeling, I really don't want that being taught. But I do think science should be taught, and there is science behind gender identity and gender fluidity. And I think if you aren't educating people that that's happening, you are not only not educating, you are teaching ignorance. And they're going to run into it at some point. And if you don't know, you're going to be scared of those people and of yourself. So I think it's a highly important to have that education.
For sure.
Guys, Charlie Rose's accusers are back in court fighting a sexual harassment case against the former anchor. Raquel Villanueva, what's the news at the moment?
Well, Tori, 3 women who accused Charlie Rose of sexual harassment are still fighting him in court. The former CBS This Morning anchor is trying to have the lawsuit dismissed. His attorney says all the allegations are just common workplace banter, but the women claim there are plenty of unwanted touching, including a time where he allegedly placed his hand under one of the women as she was sitting down. The lawsuit says Rose was one person on TV, but another in real life. The women have already settled their case against CBS for not doing enough to stop the harassment.
Ooh, not good news for Charlie Rose. Well, coming up, HGTV is renovating the iconic Brady Bunch house with help from the Brady actors. Up next, we talk to one of the HGTV stars and get the scoop on which one of the Bradys she thinks could land her own renovation show. You don't want to miss this.
Brandon's just been talking about the fifth host comment.
Back to the fifth host. I feel like, and I know Bo and Stephanie, you probably agree with me. There's not going to be a real answer when it comes to this. I just look at the story with you, Tori, how you're talking about the way you kind of grew up in the way in the high school you went to, and then it didn't really prepare you for Michigan when you went to Michigan and you said that you were lonely, you were a little depressed. I just feel like this is the same thing. I
know exactly what you mean.
You're not teaching people how to be around people.
And when you don't know those people, and when you don't know those people, as you said, people tend to get scared, and then there starts to become a problem, and then there's the violence. So I think, and I really do respect what Bo's saying about the idea of if you really believe that this is wrong and you don't want that taught in your school, perhaps this is an elective. Now, this is an elective class, so you do need to have some kind of parental confirmation to say that. But perhaps, as Bo was saying, you split it into 2 different classes. So why don't you spin up?
Yeah, I believe that because the point of the program, from what I read, was to teach abstinence. It was about sex education from a reproductive standpoint, also as well as sexually transmitted infections and things of that sort. It was about abstinence, so they weren't excluding. It wasn't exclusion. It wasn't like, we don't even want to say the word, or we want to exclude basically. I would say this, if the district were teaching, we don't recognize LGBTQ. We don't think it exists. We think it's a figment of your imagination. Then you have a problem.
Yeah.
I can really see that.
You're saying it didn't need to be.
Yeah, exactly. The point of the program was to teach basically the dangers of what happens when you have sex and to try to reduce teen pregnancy and
but
to
what
reduce
about lesbian or gay
diseases.
students who might be wanting to have sex? Because at some point you have to teach them
I think
too.
they were trying to teach them abstinence, not identity. So I can see both.
Yeah, they were.
Welcome back to DBL. Spring is here, and HGTV star Mina Starziak Hawk's biggest tip this season is to head to Lowe's for your DIY home projects. I also chatted with her about one of HGTV's biggest renovations yet. All 6 Brady siblings reunited, along with the Good Bones host and her HGTV co-stars, for a retro renovation of the iconic Brady Bunch house in today's DBL Spotlight. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. Mina, thank you so much for joining us. You've got a chance to team up with your fellow HGTV stars and all 6 Brady kids to renovate the real Brady Bunch home. So did it feel like a family reunion, kind of?
It did. Honestly, I think all of us, all the HGTV people and the Brady cast, we all just kind of hugged, and then it's like we'd known each other forever.
I wish I'd been there. Now, HGTV outbid both Maureen McCormick, this is AKA Marsha Brady, and singer Lance Bass to purchase the home. Lance actually helped with the renovation, so I have to know, Mina, were they good sports?
Honestly, I did not know they outbid Maureen. I knew that they did Lance Bass.
Right.
And I think originally there was some hard feelings there, but I think it's all kind of come full circle, and you know, they don't have a plan for what they're gonna do with the house, so maybe it'll end up in one of their hands eventually anyway.
That's a good point. There you go. Now, out of all the Brady kids, we need to know who has the most potential to join the HGTV family as a DIY home renovator.
I think as far as like energy, Maureen, she's down. She's like, what do you need me to do? Give me a sledgehammer. And she's this big, but she is all in. But a lot of the other cast have very strong skill sets. Architecture, one of them owns like a concrete company. So they've got a lot going for them. Like, I don't know how to use a CAD program, and Jan does.
Wow, Jan, way to go. Now, before you go, I got to give you a quiz on some Brady trivia just to see how well you got to know the real-life Brady Bunch kids.
Oh, gosh.
Which Brady kid ended up going out on a date with their TV mom, Florence Henderson?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna guess Bobby. That's what's coming to my head.
I like that you said that, but it's actually Greg Brady, Barry Williams. Okay. So you're 0 for 0. I like it. Now, which Brady kid competed in Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, it's he's got the curly hair and he's always kind of nice and tan.
She's always Marsha, Maureen McCormick, Marsha Brady.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was one of the brothers.
I did too, actually. Now, which Brady kid was the only sibling to decline being part of the Brady Bunch Hour variety show?
I think it was Jan.
Yes, girl! Jan Brady.
Okay, I got one.
I'm very proud of you.
I'll take it.
Well, thank you so much, Mina. We look forward to the big Brady Bunch home reveal on HGTV.
Thank you.
We will be right back.
Dumbo gonna be a big flop? Apple TV enters the streaming TV world while rumors are swirling about YouTube Premium. And Borderlands 3 is on the way. That's all next in the Jump Off. I'm Abby and welcome to the Jump Off. I'm here to bring you all the latest news in gaming, tech, and nerd culture, so let's get started right now. Tim Burton's Dumbo remake is getting mixed reviews. IGN calls it mediocre and says the remake fails to reach the lofty heights of its animated predecessor. But the Washington Post gives it 3.5 out of 4 stars, calling it decidedly and deliciously dark. The Guardian gave the movie 1 star. Just one little star, that's it. I think that's pretty harsh. We have our own review up on the Daily Blast Live YouTube channel, so go check that out and let us know what you think of the movie. Have you guys heard about Apple's new streaming service? It's something from the future, but everyone already has one. Apple TV Plus will bring together streaming channels and service from other providers, but they'll also add their own original content. We're hearing there will be a sci-fi project starring Jason Momoa and a morning show with Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell, and Jennifer Aniston. It's set to come out in the fall. We have no idea how much Apple TV Plus is going to cost, so you better start saving now. And while Apple TV is bringing all this original content, could YouTube be getting rid of theirs? Bloomberg had reported YouTube could be canceling their comedies and dramas, but YouTube's head of original content says that's not true. YouTube's premier Karate Kid sequel show, Cobra Kai, just released a new trailer for the second season.
Okinawan karate, true karate, by joining the Miyagi-Do team. Because at Miyagi-Do, it's not about the money, it's about the karate.
The new season premieres on YouTube Premium April 24th. 2K Games has announced a new Borderlands game is in development. It's been 7 years since the last Borderlands game was released. And if you haven't heard of the game, it's a highly stylized first-person shooter. It lets you and your friends team up against monsters and the main villain, Handsome Jack, in a world full of attitude. There's no word yet on when Borderlands 3 will be released, but I'm gonna be playing every weekend. That's it for the Jump Off. As always, I'll be here every week with the latest in gaming, tech, and nerd culture news. We'll see you next time. Pause.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Brandon?
London with the comments. Rajay from Facebook says, I wouldn't, talking about El Chapo, I wouldn't spend my money on El Chapo stuff, but I think it's absolutely brilliant. And then talking about April Fools, XOOX, who writes into us all the time. We love you. People are so sensitive. Pregnancy can be a joke. Maybe just don't trick your friends struggling with infertility. And then Candy on Facebook says, everybody taking things so seriously. Why so serious?
I just think you don't know if your friend's having infertility.
Yeah,
for sure.
To be honest. Yeah. It's the kind of thing that not everyone speaks about, so it's just be more mindful. Okay, so my dad did an April Fool's joke on my mum a couple of years ago, completely forgot about it, but he shaved off his mustache, got in bed with her, and she freaked out and thought it was his brother, and they look identical. It did not go down well, let me tell you. He will not be doing that again unless he wants another black. She went for the face.
She posted her.
She thought it was someone getting in bed with her. She did.
I must ask you if you think it was a good idea. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Do a knock-knock joke or something.
No, I was way back.
Kelly Schubert with the DBL digital team here. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news, and I actually have an update right now. So we're tracking the Justin Bieber story. He played that April Fool's joke where he pretended Haley Baldwin was pregnant. He kind of took it a little too far if you ask me, but he is apologizing now, so I wanted to just read his Instagram post. He says, there's always going to be people offended. There's always going to be people who don't take jokes very well. I am a prankster, and it was April Fool's. He puts April Fool's in capital letters. I didn't at all mean to be insensitive to people who can't have children. A lot of people I know, their first go-to prank on April Fool's is telling their parents they are pregnant to get a big reaction. But I will apologize anyway and take responsibility and say I'm sorry to people who are offended. I truly don't want anyone to be hurt by a prank. It's like when I shoved cake in my little sister's face for her birthday, expecting her to laugh, but she cried. You sometimes just don't know what will hurt someone's feelings, not to compare pregnancy with cake in the face, which is what I was going to say, but it's just to paint the picture of not knowing what will offend. Some might have laughed, but some were offended. I think with pranks, sometimes you just have to roll that dice. So DBL Nation, what do you think about this? Do you think Justin Bieber took it too far in faking the pregnancy? My opinion is he just took it way too far. I mean, he posted 3 different Instagram posts. had her feet in stirrups with a doctor there. It was very strange. I think that he went too far, and I just don't think that's something to joke about. I do think, you know, years ago it may have been okay, but I think we've kind of progressed a little bit. So I just don't think it's okay. But DBL Nation, I want to know what you think. Use the hashtag DBLTake and let us know what you think. Do you think his apology was sincere, comparing it to cake? Let me know. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You think this hair just naturally stays like that?
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, April 2nd. We are live, and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. And I am here with Erica, Jeff, Al, and I am Sam.
What's up, Sammy?
Hey, how are you?
Doing great, feeling good. Happy Tuesday.
You always crack me up when you do this.
I'm excited.
I love you.
Yeah, we get to be on the TV.
We are very lucky,
That's
very
right.
blessed. Amen. All right, let's get to some serious news. There is a manhunt underway right now for the suspect police say murdered 33-year-old rapper Nipsey Hussle outside his clothing store in Los Angeles on Sunday. This is 29-year-old Eric Holder, who police identified late yesterday as the suspect. They are desperately trying to find him before a reported hit is carried out. Meantime, at least 19 people were injured at a vigil for Nipsey Hussle last night, and 4 are hospitalized after a stampede. Police aren't sure what caused the panic, but initial reports of gunshots at the vigil apparently were not true, according to the police chief. Yeah, because it was a rather peaceful protest, or not protest, but vigil the entire time until that moment, Erica.
Right. And then there was a lot of chaos. You know, just as the story's coming out about who this person who they're searching for, who allegedly committed this murder, there's so many people who have been chiming in, and I really like the fact that people who normally wouldn't chime in have chimed in. On my Facebook, I've seen like my cousins, my brother, a lot of different people who are in areas. A lot of black men are calling to galvanize for leadership, not for divisiveness. And I think that that's really important, because anytime you have a leader in a community that really truly needs leaders, because leaders have been systematically taken out of those communities, it's important that we galvanize and that there is support coming from within and outside of the community. But there's always going to be people whose major game is to get you off of yours. So as opposed to doing something for themselves, they try to take you out in retaliation for you trying to do better, and that's just unfortunate.
It is. And one thing before we move on, to your point, I was listening to the press conference, and they had a lot of the community leaders there and local activists within Crenshaw saying, we are not going to let Nipsey Hussle's activism go away. We're going to continue his activism. We're going to continue to buy real estate. We're going to continue to pour money into the schools. So I want you and everybody out there who are fearful that Nipsey Hussle's activism is just going to go to the wayside. So many people are ready and waiting to keep up that fight, and I think that's a beautiful thing. His legacy will continue. Deborah Norville is asking for prayers right now. The host of Inside Edition revealed yesterday that she is undergoing surgery to remove a cancerous tumor from her neck. Here's what she said about it.
The doctor says it's a very localized form of cancer, which tomorrow I'll have surgery to have removed. There'll be no chemo, I'm told no radiation, but I will have surgery and I'll be away for a bit. So Diane will be holding down the fort. If you believe in prayer, please say one for me and for my surgeon, and I thank you very much.
Deborah, we are thinking of you. We are praying for you. Now, get this. Deborah has a TV viewer to thank for all of this. An eagle-eyed viewer spotted the lump on her neck and wrote into the show about it, and that's when Deborah got it checked out and has been monitoring it ever since.
Wow.
We always talk about see something, say something. I mean, this is incredible. Our own viewers will write us in about little things. Usually it's my outfit or my hair or my postpartum baby hairs, but it's so alarming, but nice to know that people are looking out.
People are, and I mean, we get it all the time, and I would say it's very much appreciated. Like sometimes you'll get a tweet and they'll be like, "Oh, are you okay today? You look a little down." I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine. The Browns lost," you know. But you never know, and I really do like whether something is kind of innocuous as that or something as serious as like, "Hey, I'm not a doctor, but I've seen that and that looks a little weird. Just get it checked out." It's appreciated. What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, I'm just glad she wasn't flipping about it. You know what I mean?
But if you get a bunch of hate mail or hate tweets or something, and then you get that one, you're going to think that's just another one of them. So there are good people out there tweeting things that are relevant and are useful. So you just have to weed through the good and the bad, and lucky she listened.
People write you and your wife all the time because of the Big Brother fan base. Has anybody ever pointed anything out that you were like, oh, this is going to motivate me to go to the doctor or do this or do that?
No, it's mostly just be nicer to Jordan.
Yes.
I'll stop tweeting that.
Thank you.
Oh, Jordan, we love you. All right, well, there is a controversy over a new clothing line possibly coming to stores near you, branded for the notorious drug kingpin El Chapo. If you recall, El Chapo Guzman was found guilty in February of drug trafficking, money laundering, and firearm possession. And now he signed over the rights to use his name for a clothing line. And the woman behind it all is reportedly his wife, a 29-year-old former beauty queen. Here she is walking into his trial in New York, where the new company is also registered. But this has us talking, would you buy El Chapo branded clothing, especially if it means his family can profit from it? Go to DBLvote.com. Weigh in. Erica, what would you do?
You know, I'm not really in the market right now for El Chapo apparel.
Erica, it's spring is here.
Let's say you're walking through a department store and you see a gorgeous jacket and you find out it is El Chapo made and it benefits the El Chapo family. Would you consider not purchasing it?
Absolutely. I do make those types of decisions when I'm shopping because I think that your money, your buying power is really how you're expressing your opinions about what's happening. But I am curious about the Son of Sam law because that prohibits anyone who is notorious for a crime from making that profit. So how does that really fit into what we're seeing here? Like if it's the wife, is that different?
No, I don't think. Wouldn't he benefit from that, or his family's going to benefit from that?
They have children together as well.
Yeah, I guess we're just in that day and age where everything's very public and people try to monetize it. And to each their own. I wouldn't buy it personally, but do you want to listen to R. Kelly songs still? Do you want to purchase those off iTunes? That's up to you.
You don't want to ban anything.
Yeah,
right.
I remember the famous child murderer John Wayne Gacy. He notoriously painted.
Yes.
And his paintings.
Jodi Arias too.
Right,
you can buy Jodi Arias paintings.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. And Jeff, you bring it up all the time because you always get upset when you're like somebody's going to profit off this. There's going to be a Netflix series off of this.
Yeah.
And I understand your anger because there's so many bodies allegedly in the wake of this cartel. And like, so for you to buy something is almost supporting that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Let's see what our DBL Nation thinks, though. They say no, 64% of you.
Good for them.
Good for you. You got a conscience. Okay. Well, right now, the New York Police Department confirms it is investigating allegations against magician David Blaine. Let's get right to Kelly Schubert with the details.
Right now, David Blaine is under investigation by the NYPD over sex assault allegations made by 2 women. And Sam, the New York Post reports one of those women says the magician hypnotized her into compliance. Both accusers say they were attacked by Blaine more than 20 years ago, so the allegations are outside of the statutes of limitations, making it unclear how the NYPD will proceed. So far, David Blaine has not commented on the accusations. Sam, I'll of course keep you updated.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Well, we are tracking the winners and the losers from yesterday's April Fool's Day pranks. Dr. Phil might have won when he tweeted out these pictures, making everyone think he shaved off his famous mustache. But to all those who were gullible enough to believe him, he cleared it up with this video.
April Fools, you didn't really think I would do it, right? I'd look like an aardvark if I took this off.
An aardvark? But we're not so sure he's right, that he looks like an aardvark without the sash. Check out this side by side. If you ask us, he looks a little bit more like Danny DeVito's penguin.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, he does.
Shots fired.
That's not a shot fired.
He said aardvark.
If someone said you look like the penguin, that wouldn't be a shot fired?
He said he looked like an aardvark.
He didn't say he looked like Danny DeVito.
Jeff, would you rather be an aardvark or a penguin?
I'd rather be an aardvark.
All right.
All right. But yesterday's pranks have a lot of people angry with Justin Bieber. Your boy, Jeff, this singer started the day off by posting this sonogram photo with the caption, "Congratulations, the legacy continues." Bieber then posted this picture of his wife, Haley, at what appears to be a doctor's appointment, writing, "If you thought it was April Fool's, think again," which led a bunch of fans to think he was being serious, congratulating him. But finally, Bieber posted this sonogram with a puppy, revealing his joke. Well, a lot of people ain't laughing. One person tweeted, "Honestly, not a funny joke when millions of women are struggling with infertility and other issues of that sort. Sad." And another tweeted that she unfollowed the Biebs for his joke, saying it was not funny. Well, Justin Bieber has apologized, posting this to Instagram saying he's sorry to people who were offended. Why did you sigh?
Is this do we just want to live in a sad kingdom? There's a day we've put aside for jokes only, and you can't make a joke on that. Listen, everything that you make a joke about, if he had been surrounded by ice cream saying, "Hey, I'm off my diet," somebody would be like, "I've struggled with anorexia." Anything that you put, somebody's going to have a struggle with it. But if that's not okay, then what can we joke about?
Well, there was a ton of pranks yesterday that people were laughing at. Look at Dr. Phil's prank. There was also
that was a pretty innocuous prank.
Okay, well, there was also a meme that went viral.
So is that the level?
Well, there was also a meme that went viral. I just think you need to be sensitive to the 1 in 8 women out there in the United States alone who are struggling with infertility, not to mention the third of male Americans that are struggling with infertility. And there was a meme yesterday that went viral that reminded people, hey, saying that you're pregnant is not a joke. It's not an April Fool's
joke. What, Sam,
it's a sensitive topic.
I'm not saying it's not sensitive, but I would say as somebody that has been close to a lot of people around my age that are struggling with infertility, sometimes a joke is what's needed. Everything is so stressful, and these conversations you have every once in a while to just kind of lighten the mood a little bit is okay.
But isn't it good that we have a conversation about it? If some people laughed, I'm not going to blame you, but isn't it also good that some people are speaking up, letting them know? I'm
just saying the systematic shutting down of joking and satire is how
Erica,
we lose our...
I'm 38. I don't have children, so I'm just going to say everything's not about you sometimes. Right. I mean, I could be very sensitive to this issue. I choose not to be. So I get that people can be, and I respect that, but at the same time, I'm not going to make everything out there about me because there's enough things that are already truly about me.
Right, and also, like, we have to be like, was there malice behind this? Do you really think that he intended? No. What was the intent? And that's what I'm saying.
I hear you. I just think it's good that we have the conversation, but I hear you. DBL's Live. We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. Coming up, an iconic 1970s TV house is getting an all-star reno. HGTV star Mina Starsiak-Hawk takes us behind the scenes with some surprising dish on the Brady actors. Also, Barbara Bush was a beloved first lady, but a new book is stirring controversy over claims she had a bitter feud with another political wife.
Was it me?
It's not you, Al. It's not about you, Al. And you, the viewer, are our 5th host. A small town is fighting over what to include in its new sex ed curriculum, not wanting to include some members of the LGBTQ community. So DBL Nation, you're fired up. We share your comments coming up next.
Hi DBL Nation, Kelly Schubert with the DBL Digital team here. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news and your comments. Please keep sending them in because we're all having a nice debate there, so keep sending them in. Let's go to the desk and see what's going on. Maybe we shouldn't. I'm going to talk right now by myself. Chris is going to come up and talk with me. Nope, we're going to the desk. Let's go.
So if we're going to more people talk about it, then everyone's take has to be tighter.
I just think the other stories didn't have as many.
All right, guys, I'm going to keep talking, but let me get an iPad from someone so I can talk about the comments. Kenny and I were having a good debate. He doesn't think that the Justin Bieber thing is offensive at all, and I think that's great that you're allowed to have your own opinion. Let's see who else's comments are coming in right now. Oh, it keeps switching on me. The iPad keeps switching, guys. Hold on. Still switching. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Kenny said this, which I really like. Dr. Phil, that's offensive. I can't grow a mustache, and you're playing April Fool's jokes about it. Oh, good point. Adam is shaking his head. He thinks it's a good point, too. He's got a nice beard. He can grow mustaches, as you can see.
If you can't.
If you can't, it's offensive. Adam agrees. Let's see what else. He signed over his rights. I feel like he might have a comfy hoodie, but in all seriousness, I wouldn't buy his merch. I feel like it's bad luck. I think we're talking about El Chapo there. Jeff, what's up?
How's it going?
You want to chat a little bit?
You want to talk about Bieber a little bit?
What were your thoughts about Bieber?
You don't like it, unfollow him. That's it. You don't have to write in. Don't do anything. You don't like it, don't unfollow him. Tom Brady wrote he retired from the NFL. My dream was to play in the NFL. Do I hate Tom Brady now because he wrote that? Seriously, is that like?
But do you think
that's
that?
a fair?
But do you think that? I hear you. Do you think though that the person has to unfollow Bieber, or if it does hurt
if
their
he
feelings,
bothers you and it's that much that you're.
But what if they're just trying to start a conversation about it?
But
what
don't threaten to unfollow. You mean EXO 5 times 5, 2, 4, 6, 7 with an egg is going to start a conversation?
Oh, I'm not talking about that person. But what about the thousands of comments where people were trying to start a conversation? Can't they just
unfollow? If you're looking at something that's negative on your social feed, put more positive things on your social feed and unfollow the negative ones.
That's a good. Welcome back to DBL. It is time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Well, sex education is causing a huge battle in a small Michigan town. A transgender child is a resident, and her supporters asked the school district to update the sex ed curriculum to include mention of LGBTQ people, but other parents pushed back hard. They do not want any mention of transgender students and say sex ed should focus on abstinence only. So DBL Nation, what do you think? Should sex ed in schools mention LGBTQ students? We want to hear from you.
All right, Sam. Andy from Facebook says, I can't believe LGBTQ kids are still having to endure this in 2019. Andy, you took the words out of my mouth. You should come sit in this seat. You know, this is less about what the school district is doing and more about what happens to these cities. Because of things like this, that community is going to lose that child. That child is going to move to another place and take their talents along with them. People that agree with this child are going to leave that city and take their talents along with them, and it's going to leave a waste there. There's going to be nobody there. There's going to be no infrastructure for any kind of diversity in these cities because people are going to feel persecuted and they're going to move. So this community is going to lose another shining star. So they should think about that.
Pam from Facebook says no one is stopping parents from discussing these issues in their own home. Pam, I think the problem is you can erase things from the curriculum, but that doesn't erase the people from this planet.
Amen.
And ultimately, you are going to have a situation where you are going to have less diversity. And maybe that's what some people want, but it's not as though it doesn't exist. So I would really strongly suggest that people be a little bit more open because these issues and these people are not going away, just like the issues and people before that didn't go away.
Lori from Facebook says, comprehensive sex ed won't change your identity. It may help you define it. I like that. You know, I think people who have a problem with this are exactly who need this class, who need to learn about this. Everyone's scared of something that they don't know, and if they just learned a little bit more about it, they wouldn't be so scared about it. So I think this class is for you.
And I think, too, I love what you just said, Jeff, to button it, just education. So if you educate, you know, your students that trans teens are more likely to commit suicide. I mean, these are human lives. They're more likely to commit suicide. They're more likely to be victims of violent crime because of the lack of education, because of the discrimination. You'll start to see them as human beings, and you'll want to rally behind them, I would hope, and protect them because their lives are at stake.
Sam, we got a roll. I taught sex ed for 5 years.
Oh, that's right.
And every adult that's sitting here watching the show would be shocked at what kids don't know or have questions about that are scared to ask. So just say no, and we're just going to do abstinence is really doing them a huge disservice. We're sending them out into the world with a lack of knowledge, and somebody will take advantage of that.
All right. Wow. Thank you for chiming in. We will be right back.
Anytime.
Guys, Kelly Schubert with the DBL digital team here. Al is actually coming over to join me.
I gotta get a quick picture I have to do right now.
Oh.
Set it up and I'll be right there.
Actually, I want to hold this story because I'd like to have Al to discuss this story. Yeah, no, Jeff can come over. We're going to talk about something else. I'm going to hold this story for when, Al can talk about it. Jeff, what's going on?
I got it now.
What's going on?
Nothing. What's shaking?
People are commenting on your outfit today. They wonder if you're running for office.
No, I was wondering if you guys need your taxes done in April. I'm your man.
I think you look very dapper. Let's get a head to toe, John. Head to toe.
There you go.
Here, we're loving the look on Jeff today.
I could either sell your house or do your taxes, whichever one you want.
I think you're a little too formal for a realtor, at least in Denver.
Really?
I think so.
I feel like I'm going to a wedding.
I think he looks like a politician.
At the governor's mansion.
I think you look fabulous. Very dapper.
I get like a
Is it too tight?
Super stressful because
it's too tight.
Sometimes I get stressed out when I have to wear a necktie.
Yeah.
You know what? I had a busy morning. I've been running around. I just had a shoot, and I got back like 10 minutes.
Such a rough life. He got to go shopping for on a shoot today.
It was far away. And I only had 10 minutes to read, like study these subjects.
Can I ask you a question though? Is this going to be a two-man crew?
No, it's not. Yeah, we didn't brand it as two. They had a part. They did already like a first part.
Gotcha.
You know, so then we just had to pick up like the second part.
Cool. It sounds fun. It's actually this place called Stanley Marketplace here in Denver. If you're from the Denver area, it's a really cool place to check out.
It actually is cool.
Yeah.
We went to the Taco Fest there.
Oh,
so if you guys remember the taco thing that we did, me and Al, that was a two-man crew.
Yes.
It's the marketplace inside there.
Cool.
Very cool, yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Welcome back to DBL. Spring is here, and HGTV star Mina Starziak-Hawk's biggest tip this season is to head to Lowe's for your DIY home projects. I also chatted with her about one of HGTV's biggest renovations yet. All 6 Brady siblings reunited, along with the Good Bones host and her HGTV co-stars, for a retro renovation of the iconic Brady Bunch house in today's DBL Spotlight. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. Mina, thank you so much for joining us. You've got a chance to team up with your fellow HGTV stars and all 6 Brady kids to renovate the real Brady Bunch home. So did it feel like a family reunion, kind of?
It did. Honestly, I think all of us, all the HGTV people and the Brady cast, we all just kind of hugged, and then it's like we'd known each other forever.
I wish I'd been there. Now, HGTV outbid both Maureen McCormick, this is AKA Marsha Brady, and singer Lance Bass to purchase the home. Lance actually helped with the renovation, so I have to know, Mina, were they good sports?
Honestly, I did not know they outbid Maureen. I knew that they did Lance Bass. Right. And I think originally there was some hard feelings there, but I think it's all kind of come full circle, and you know, they don't have a plan for what they're going to do with the house, so maybe it'll end up in one of their hands eventually anyway.
That's a good point. There you go. Now, out of all the Brady kids, we need to know who has the most potential to join the HGTV family as a DIY home renovator.
I think as far as like energy, Maureen, she's down. She's like, what do you need me to do? Give me a sledgehammer. And she's this big, but she is all in. But a lot of the other cast have very strong skill sets. Architecture, one of them owns like a concrete company. So they've got a lot going for them. Like, I don't know how to use a CAD program, and Jan does.
Wow, Jan, way to go. Now, before you go, I got to give you a quiz on some Brady trivia just to see how well you got to know the real-life Brady Bunch kids.
Oh, gosh.
Which Brady kid ended up going out on a date with their TV mom, Florence Henderson?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna guess Bobby. That's what's coming to my head.
I like that you said that, but it's actually Greg Brady, Barry Williams. Okay. So you're 0 for 0. I like it. Now, which Brady kid competed in Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, it's he's got the curly hair and he's always kind of nice and tan.
She's always Marsha, Maureen McCormick, Marsha Brady.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was one of the brothers.
I did too, actually. Now, which Brady kid was the only sibling to decline being part of the Brady Bunch Hour variety show?
I think it was Jan.
Yes, girl! Jan Brady.
I got one.
I'm very proud of you.
I'll take it.
Well, thank you so much, Mina. We look forward to the big Brady Bunch home reveal on HGTV.
Thank you.
We will be right back.
Promotional. What's going on, DBL Nation? It is your 3rd favorite part of the show, commercial breaks with Brett in London. We are going to be talking about the 5th host a little bit more. A lot of you have been weighing in, and I love the comments because I love when they vary, and I love learning different perspectives of what people think. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in right now. Alyssa Holzbach, I hope I've said you guys' names right, no offense. She said, went through sex ed in the late 90s, early 2000s in Wisconsin. As a lesbian, none of the content was relevant for me since it only focused on straight sex. I didn't learn about safe sex practices for lesbian and sex until I was in college. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad this was the first comment. I'm glad you wrote in, Alyssa. Thank you for sharing. I just think of it because the town we're talking about is some small town. And in small towns, you kind of grow up with one way of thinking. So if you're only teaching kids one thing, or you're trying to shelter kids, when they get out to the real world, they don't know. They haven't been educated on different people, different cultures, and in this case, different ways to educate for sex. Cody Severson says, I don't need public school to teach my kids about sex anyway. So would you rather them just learn in the back of a Buick? You know, like, I think sex education is a big part of school, big part of education, especially how sexual people are these days and how we over-sexualize things in America in these days. Eddie McGrady says, when will we get to the point where we can just let people be happy and comfortable? Justin Van Cleek says, it's shameful that teens are being denied a proper education, but even worse, having their very identities denied. Such an can be for so many reasons. Okay. Whitey Munster says, give me a break. There's male and female. It takes a male and female to create life. Your feeling on this biological truth is irrelevant. So sick of the political correctness. So we're just supposed to not think about the people who think of themselves as transgender, as the woman who identifies herself as a man as a woman. I ask this question all the time. If your car goes over a bridge and a transgender male or woman is the one who sticks their hand through the door and you're about to drown, and that's the person that's pulling you up to save your life, are you going to say no because you're transgender, or if you're Republican, or if you're black, or if you're Muslim? Same thing in this case. Last but not least, Lori Batslaw says, comprehensive sex ed won't change your identity, though it may help you to find it. Once again, thank you guys. You are the 5th host. Thank you for writing in. I think Roman's Rescue is next. Keep watching the show. That's your commercial break with Brandon London.
Welcome back to DBL. It's that time of the week where our favorite puppy pitchman, Roman, shows us a new dog up for adoption. Pay attention this time because this next dog may steal your heart. Meet Ruben in today's Roman's Rescues.
Hi everyone, I'm here at the Augusta Animal Services with my friend Ruben here. And he's a year and a half and heartworm negative. He's a little energetic, well, a lot of energetic, and really sweet. Ruben is a pit bull mix.
He would do good with maybe somebody who was like a runner.
A runner would be great
and
for
burn
Ruben.
off all that energy.
Yeah, maybe 5 blocks a day.
He's like, I want to play.
Please adopt.
What do you say?
Thank you. Bye.
Let's get Ruben adopted. If you're leaving us right now, you can still watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
Happy Equal Pay Day! We'll tell you how your favorite celebs like Oprah and Meryl Streep are fighting for pay equality. Plus, First Lady feud. You won't believe the nasty nickname Nancy Reagan had for the Bushes. And it's Game of Thrones mania as America goes wild for the final season. Did star Maisie Williams just drop a major spoiler? Find out when we come back.
Dumbo gonna be a big flop? Apple TV enters the streaming TV world while rumors are swirling about YouTube Premium. And Borderlands 3 is on the way. That's all next in the Jump Off. I'm Abby and welcome to the Jump Off. I'm here to bring you all the latest news in gaming, tech, and nerd culture, so let's get started right now. Tim Burton's Dumbo remake is getting mixed reviews. IGN calls it mediocre and says the remake fails to reach the lofty heights of its animated predecessor. But the Washington Post gives it 3.5 out of 4 stars, calling it decidedly and deliciously dark. The Guardian gave the movie 1 star. Just 1. One little star, that's it. I think that's pretty harsh. We have our own review up on the Daily Blast Live YouTube channel, so go check that out and let us know what you think of the movie. Have you guys heard about Apple's new streaming service? It's something from the future, but everyone already has one. Apple TV Plus will bring together streaming channels and service from other providers, but they'll also add their own original content. We're hearing there will be a sci-fi project starring Jason Momoa and a morning show with Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell, and Jennifer Aniston. It's set to come out in the fall. We have no idea how much Apple TV Plus is going to cost, so you better start saving now. And while Apple TV is bringing all this original content, could YouTube be getting rid of theirs? Bloomberg had reported YouTube could be canceling their comedies and dramas, but YouTube's head of original content says that's not true. YouTube's premier Karate Kid sequel show, Cobra Kai, just released a new trailer for the second season.
Okinawan karate, true karate, by joining the Miyagi-Do team, because at Miyagi-Do, it's not about the money, it's about the karate.
The new season premieres on YouTube Premium April 24th. 2K Games has announced a new Borderlands game is in development. It's been 7 years since the last Borderlands game was released. And if you haven't heard of the game, it's a highly stylized first-person shooter. It lets you and your friends team up against monsters and the main villain, Handsome Jack, in a world full of attitude. There's no word yet on when Borderlands 3 will be released, but I'm gonna be playing every weekend. That's it for the Jump Off. As always, I'll be here every week with the latest in gaming, tech, and nerd culture news. We'll see you next time.
Right now.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now, so let's get started. Today is World Autism Awareness Day. People around the world are wearing blue to recognize people living on the autism spectrum. It's also National Reconciliation Day, a time to patch up relationships or misunderstandings, and it is Equal Pay Day to bring awareness to pay discrepancies between men and women. It's on a Tuesday because it represents how far into the work week a woman works to earn as much as a man doing the same exact job. But since 1980, the pay gap has been slowly closing. Women make 85 cents to every dollar a man makes. For workers ages 25 to 34, it's 89 cents. That's according to Pew Research Center. And today, Time is featuring women who are the first in their industry, like Nancy Pelosi, who is the first woman to become Speaker of the House, and Aretha Franklin, who is the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and finally, Oprah Winfrey, who is the first woman to own and produce her own talk show. Listen to what she has to say.
I went to my boss at the time, and I said, everybody needs a raise. And he said, why? He actually said to me, they're only girls. They're a bunch of girls. What do they need more money for?
Wow. And I think it's important to say, too, that it's not a white woman like myself is the 89 cents, but women of color are less than that, and then Latina women are even less than that. So I think it's important to talk about that discrepancy as well. But we've come a long way, Erica, and you hear Oprah Winfrey's story, and I don't think that would fly today. I just don't.
Well, it doesn't fly overtly, but it certainly flies covertly. So I think that it is the responsibility for anyone to really flex their privilege, and privilege isn't just a white male thing. Privilege comes in all shapes, sizes, genders, and socioeconomic statuses. I mean, you see in Hollywood, a lot of white women are now starting to advocate for their sisters of color for that reason. So if we get on board, especially when it comes to more of a team camaraderie, then I think that that is going to be the catalyst for change.
Yeah, and you see the He for She campaign too. You see men like Bradley Cooper saying, hey, I'm not okay with me making more than Jennifer Lawrence when we're putting in the same work and we both got the same body of work. So it's really important for the men to speak up too.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think so too. Just because, I mean, I look at it just like, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're female. If you drive the bus 50 blocks and a woman drives it 100 blocks, she gets double. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's easy to put it in everyday situations or everyday jobs, but I don't know why there's this huge discrepancy and everyone's like, they look at a white male like me and they're like, well, you're privileged. I work hard. I don't need to be called privileged. I work hard. I'm going to earn my money. And because I make more than you doesn't mean I'm a white male. It means I work harder than you. So I need to get rid of that stigma too. And there's a lot of stigmas. I see Eric America looking at me from the side. But I do have to say something for myself, because how am I supposed to get ahead if I work with all women and I do the same? I do more than you, but then we all get paid the same. How does that work?
Well, I think that, well, for starters, first you'd have to prove that you're doing more. Secondly, if that were the case, and I've talked about the fact that there's been major disparities in my pay. At one point, I was making 5% of what my co-hosts were making. I understand that there was seniority involved. A part of that was the idea that I wouldn't have had that job had it not been for them. But how do you ever justify someone making 5% of what you're making? Plus, on top of it, let me be very clear about this too. In an ensemble situation, I don't understand why employers or people in situations and able to bring in their teammates wouldn't do so. Do you know how much more productive and how much happier people are and able to move past things if they're making enough to live and survive?
Motivation.
A lot of people aren't. So when you have people who are absolutely in feast and people who are in famine, why would you even want a work environment like that? That seems very temporary to me.
I agree. And I think
and that's not what I want at all, by the way.
Your point is well taken.
Yes.
It's, I think when all things being equal, we do see that tend to happen, not when one person is clearly putting in more work.
Right, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to discriminate against anybody. I'm just saying, when, like the bus example, it was a pretty good example, I thought.
Do you want to revisit the bus example?
Well, just double.
I don't think we have enough time. We don't have enough time.
There you go.
I've just heard we have no time for the bus example.
Arash, I'll teach you.
Tell me off camera.
All right.
Okay. A historic election is taking place in Chicago today. Raquel Villanueva has the news at the moment.
Well, Sam, for the first time ever, Chicago's mayor will be a black woman. This race is down to 2 women for the runoff election. It's between former federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot and Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. Both see themselves as progressive candidates, and if Lightfoot wins, she'll be the city's first openly gay mayor, and right now polls show she's favored to win.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Raquel. Well, former First Lady Barbara Bush is dishing the deets on some White House drama, and it's all detailed in a new book on her life. The Matriarch by Susan Page is actually out today, so you might want to go pick it up. And in the book, Barbara talks about her relationship with former First Lady Nancy Reagan. The two spent time together when Ronald Reagan was president and George H.W. Bush was VP, and apparently the two women did not get along. In the book, we learn Nancy called the Bushes, are you ready for this? The Shrubs, and even didn't invite them to a dinner with Princess Diana or to the family's quarters in the White House, and never to Camp David. Apparently, Barbara had had enough and hung up on Nancy when she tried to call to kill some bad publicity between the two of them, but that is all according to the new book. Wow, this book really serves the tea, let me tell you.
This just shows you, like, everybody's got their fun grandma and their mean grandma. I think that's what we're dealing with now, because it just seems like Barbara Bush is like the, hey, let's have some fun. Right. I know we're presidents and vice presidents, but when we shut that door, we're people. And it seems like Nancy Reagan was always buttoned up, and sometimes that's good in situations, but it's really bad when you start excluding people.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't know if you wanted to keep talking, I will. This turned into a bad Bumble date.
I just felt like they had more to say, but yeah, I think you said it all.
Yeah,
we'll move on to the next.
I'm helping out.
Thank you. We got to fill some time now that Sam's going to stare at me.
Okay. All right. We are on live TV. This tends to happen. Jeff over here is still annoyed about his bus reference taking traction.
To be perfectly honest, I had nothing to say about this.
All right. Well, actor Taron Egerton is featured on the cover of May's issue of GQ leading up to his big movie Rocket Man. He plays Elton John in the film, set to hit theaters May 31st. Here is a sneak peek. Wow, that looks amazing. And now Taron is giving us some insider details on the film and how he met Elton while preparing for the role. Take a look.
He is obviously someone who feels a bit like royalty, and he's one of those people who's kind of such an icon that he feels more like, until you meet him, you kind of forget that he's a real sort of person. He's sort of more of an idea than he is a kind of a walking, talking human being.
But some people are criticizing Taron's casting in the film because he is straight, playing Elton, who is openly gay. Taron tells GQ, quote, "The LGBTQ community has always been about inclusiveness, hasn't it? Not about we're here, you're there. In fact, if you want to come in, come on in." So DBL Nation, this has us wondering, should an LGBTQ actor been cast as Elton John instead? Head to dblvote.com. Let us know what you think. What do you think, Jeff?
Going right for me, huh?
Why?
Well, I'm just going to take that. No, I don't think so. I don't think you have to be LGBTQ just to take this role. Again, I think the best person for the role should take this role. That's what I think. I mean, it's very simple, like the bus analogy.
Please not revisit the bus analogy. Erica, chime in.
I think the issue, it comes a lot down to typecasting. The difference is when you have a Rami Malek who plays a gay character and then makes out with his girlfriend at the Oscars, it's showing that there's no box that you can put him into. When you typecast someone and you're saying, okay, well, this is how a gay person should be constructed on film, and look, you're living this life, then it's all the same. You can't do anything else. So I think that there's no flexibility in the thinking there, and that's where the problem ends up.
That's a good point.
And I would say we want to do great service to the legacy that is Elton John. So let's find the best actor to showcase, because you got to forget, long after we're all gone, this movie will still exist, and hopefully people will learn who he is through the best actor that we could find.
Well, according to the Metro in the UK, they claim that Elton John himself was involved in the casting, and he did not want anybody else to play him but Taron. So there you go.
I think that says it all.
Yes.
Let's see what you think, DBL Nation. 81% of you say no. Should a gay actor have been cast? No. I think visibility is important, though. I'm glad we're talking about it, at the very least.
And it goes vice versa. Yes. You know what I mean? If you're a straight person, you're LGBTQ, of course, you're the best person for that job, take that job.
Bus analogy again?
It's a good one.
I see it coming. I see it.
Now everybody understands a little bit better. I was always a visual person.
Coming up on DBL, it's one of the hottest interactive museum exhibits in the country right now, and our very own Jeff and Jordan. Oh, I can't wait for this. Check it out. So how do they compare to the Renaissance genius, Leonardo da Vinci? But up next, Game of Thrones fans are going nuts for the new trailer that hit today, and they think it has some spoilers. And what's up with Throne star Maisie Williams? Why are fans laughing after she raced off the Jimmy Fallon set? We have all the latest Game of Thrones news coming up next.
What a super interesting topic. I mean,
Which one?
What we were just talking about in terms of should an LGBTQ actor play somebody that was gay, especially in a biopic. And I still double down on what I said. I think we should get the best actor, and especially now that I hear that Elton John was involved in the casting.
Well, according to the Metro, he was involved. He wanted this actor to play him. However, I think Erica's point is really important, that we don't see the same flexibility when it comes to straight actors outside in the public as LGBTQ actors. So LGBTQ actors often feel like, especially trans actors, feel like that they're always pigeonholed to play trans actors, and they never get that same opportunity to then play a straight actor because of the way they're viewed in the public. So I think that's important to think about. Until we change our view of treating everybody equally, then hopefully they will get any role under the sun. But right now, they only get those LGBTQ roles. So when they see those LGBTQ roles go to straight people who have the flexibility, I think rightfully so, it frustrates them.
Well, and again, I don't want to get wrapped up in the LGBTQ thing, but aren't you a better actor if you're a better chameleon? Meaning you could play any part? Doesn't that widen what parts that you get?
Wait, let's have Jeray come over here and talk for a second.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, I actually have a friend who's transgendered and is an actress, and she is constantly told that she can't do roles or is not she's not getting a lot of these roles simply because she is transgender and she isn't the most feminine person possible. So it's hard for her to be a chameleon at that point. But her acting skills are amazing in Alice World. So I think that's hard to say on that respect.
Welcome back to DBL. I have 3 words for you. Winter is coming.
Yes.
We are only 12 days away from the Game of Thrones final season premiere.
Just the music.
This after waiting nearly 2 years since the last season. And just hours ago, an eerie new trailer titled Aftermath dropped. Let's take a look. Whose sword was that?
That was anticlimactic.
Well, not according to Sam. He really sold that.
Was that Jon Snow's sword?
I don't know. I've never seen
Was
Game
there a
of
wolf
Thrones.
on the end?
I don't know. There's a wolf
I think
on
we
the
should
end.
tell people, Jeff, we should tell everybody.
There's a wolf on the end. I'm told there's a wolf on the end.
That's Jon Snow's sword.
Let's get more information from somebody that has not flicked past the channel of Game of Thrones. No, I wanted to tell, I have good news for you and Erica. You guys don't watch Game of Thrones. You guys have both said that you're overwhelmed by the amount of episodes. There is now, according to the director, 21 episodes that you can watch, and they're like, these are the core episodes. If you watch these 21 episodes,
Erica,
you can catch up.
Erica, we can do 21.
You can do 21.
21 episodes? Aren't they an hour apiece?
That's
Erica, we can do 21. Erica, we can do 21.
Erica, what are you doing
You
tonight?
want me to spend a whole day watching Game of Thrones
2
as opposed
hours.
to the 2 days that it takes to watch the whole thing of Game of Thrones?
It would be the best day ever.
It's awesome.
Erica,
Don't you
we can
trust
do
us?
21. I can do 21.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on, Sam.
I'm on board.
Somebody's coming to this.
Erica, we just break it up. We do a couple a night for a couple weeks, and then we got 21.
Can we at least do it on an international flight? If you can agree to send me somewhere, I'll do it then.
Oh, I'll go with you. Fans are also talking about the April Fool's prank Maisie Williams pulled on The Tonight Show last night. The Arya Stark actress looks like she was aiming for a few laughs, but received some awkward tension instead. Sounds like Jeff's bus joke. Check it out.
When I found out that Arya died in like the 2nd episode, I was...
What? That's a spoiler.
April Fool's! That's good. Is that an okay prank to play? How mad would you have been if you were in the audience and thought that was a real spoiler? So you guys being the diehard fans, what would you have thought when you heard that?
First of all, that's my favorite character, so I would
Jeff
be
would have
like,
been.
I love her, yeah.
Would you have gasped?
I would have gasped.
No, I kind of like that. I mean, you know me, I'm a sucker for April Fools, and because it's a day that everybody's expecting it, you have to go above and beyond to trick people because people know it's coming. So the fact that they got that many people, I think Jimmy Kimmel did a good job of selling it. She did a good job of selling it. It was
He usually
good.
laughs. The Jimmy Kimmel that we know of all the years he was on SNL, he usually can't hold a straight face.
Right. That was good.
Yeah, that was really good.
I like it.
All right. Well, we're not done talking Game of Thrones just yet. With a new season comes the marketing blitz. But this year, the hype is on a whole new level. Stephanie Jones has the Game of Thrones gossip coming in got.
Right, fans now have so many ways to get hyped for the final season. It's bonkers. Feel fierce like the Dragon Queen with a Game of Thrones makeup kit from Urban Decay, or stay warm during the long winter with a Johnny White Walker whiskey named after the show's icy villains. I don't think it'll save you guys though. And here's my favourite one. HBO partnered with the Red Cross to sponsor a Game of Thrones themed blood drive. So are you willing to bleed for the Iron Throne? So here's my question for you guys. Would you buy any of this merchandise? And are you surprised a show like this has become so mainstream?
Steph, I know you were really excited about the
White Walker, Johnny Walker?
Yes.
That's a great idea, great marketing.
I saw that. I was like, I just stopped drinking at the wrong time. I want that. I might just buy it just for the bottle.
to have it.
What
It's
happened
so cool.
to the bottle that we got you for your birthday? Did you drink it yet?
No, I only drink it on special occasions. So I drank some on my birthday. I drank some when my son was born, and I save it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Steph's over there.
Not giving anything away. Did you have some last week after we got some news? Me and you?
It's not April Fool's, Al.
Oh.
Can't talk about that.
Bye, Steph.
Coming up on DBL, you have to see this amazing new interactive exhibit. Leonardo da Vinci was born 500 years ago this year, and our own Jeff and Jordan check out an exhibit that celebrates his art and inventions. That's coming up next.
DBL Nation, it's Lex and I'm here with the DBL digital team giving you guys more top trending stories during the breaks here at Daily Blast Live. I am obsessed with Game of Thrones. This past weekend, I watched season 7. Now, there aren't that many episodes of season 7, so binging all of it really didn't take that long. I still did other things. It wasn't a complete hermit, and you can do it too. So hopefully you guys are getting geared up. This Maisie Williams interview, I audibly gasped and I wasn't even in the studio. She is so talented. I mean, you could really tell that Jimmy Fallon kind of didn't have it going on, but Maisie was so convincing. My heart dropped, really. So anyway, moving on to our trending story right now. It's coming out of Reno, Nevada. It's really interesting. This 13-year-old boy, his name is William, he decided to sell his Xbox, do some yard work and housework around the community to buy his mom a car. 13 years old, and he bought his mom a car. Seriously incredible story. The mom is a mother of 3. They have 3 dogs. And he just said that he was inspired by some people on YouTube who he had seen buy their mom's cars and saw that his mom was super hardworking and deserving of one and just did it. How incredible is that? DBL Nation, write us in if you guys have stories like this or uplifting stories that you want to share with us. I think it's super incredible, and congratulations. I think that's so great. Bye, guys.
Welcome back to DBL. My wife Jordan and I have 2 toddlers at home, and after a long, cold winter, we needed some inspiration for some new screen-free activities, so we headed to the Denver's Museum of Nature and Science to get the ideas from one of the greatest minds of all time, Leonardo da Vinci. Check this out.
You see the writing?
Yeah.
So he was left-handed, so you're left-handed too?
Yeah.
So instead of you ever like write and then smear your
all
ink?
the time in school. I'd have it like all down my arm.
So he made this up, so he wrote backwards so it wouldn't touch, the ink wouldn't touch your hand. So that's why everything's written backwards. So like to read it, you have to like hold it up to a mirror.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
You know how long that would take me?
You want to try to write something?
Yeah.
Put Jeff's the best.
Okay.
No, you have to start over here. See,
yeah, that's right.
Just start with Jeff. What? That's forward.
Oh, that's forward. Oh my God. Why am I doing it forward?
That was harder than I thought it was going to be. We did it.
We're idiots.
We're like Da Vinci. Can't even tell us apart. So like this is supported by this one. You get it?
Right.
All right. You want to try to build our own bridge?
Yeah, but Jeff's mainly going to be building this bridge. I'm glad I didn't live in these times because I would have failed at everything.
You'd be dead.
I would have been dead. I would have never survived.
Let's work together.
That's never a good thing.
Oh wait, there's like certain.
No. Hang on. That one. Look, that one's pointed down, and this is so it's like this.
Right.
And then, oh my God.
There, we can still get in like that, right? Just. There you go.
There we go. It's built.
Storm the fortress. So you look in the mirror and draw yourself?
All right.
All right. Don't make me laugh.
Oh man, mine's terrible. I am no Da Vinci.
I'm pretty close. Are you close?
No, we'll just draw shoulders so I can be done.
What is that?
I'm drawing my hair.
All right, I count 3. Show me yours. I already took a peek at yours. 1, 2, 3.
Yours isn't bad.
Dude, yours looks scary. Is that scary?
We'll be right back.
What's going on, DBL Nation? Brandon London here again with the commercial break with Brandon. You guys know we are a live show, constantly updating you all with news as we get it. We just found out Deborah Norville just had a successful surgery. Remember in the A block, which was one of the first segments today that the panel was talking about how a viewer saw that she had a lump on her neck and she had a thyroid surgery, right? Thyroid surgery. Just wanted to make sure. So, I mean, I think this is social media gone right. In a day of Twitter fingers and everyone always has some sort of comment, a viewer saw that she had a lump on her neck. Just to rehash the story, had a lump on her neck. She went and got it checked. They really didn't. She was proactive about it. Got it checked by a doctor, and then they found out that it was thyroid cancer. And now she just had a successful surgery. So congratulations to you, Deborah, and shout out to that fan that wrote in. It was one thing when you write in, you're like, hey, your dress looks nice, or hey, Brandon, your shirt looks nice. Thank you. But when you write in and you potentially and you save someone's life, I think that's amazing, and that just goes to show how great fans are and how great social media can be when we read it, when we use it the right way. And a lot of you have been commenting in on her. Nobi Shanti Davis says prayers are going up for Deborah Norville. Gregory Bibbs says prayers are up. Gregory Bibbs also says Al looks happy today. Al, viewers say you look happy today. Oh, no salty Al today. We love it. XOOX, talking about El Chapo. So this is going into El Chapo now. XOOX, he signed over his rights. Did he trademark his name? I believe so. I believe that's part of it. There's more that's going to happen. I know his daughter is also going to trademark and license El Chapo and El Chapo Guzman. I was reading an article. It was dated back in 2015, but back in 2015, I know we're in 2019 now, there were 38 hip-hop songs that they found that had mentioned El Chapo's name in it. I think this is going to be something that's big in the hip-hop community just because, I mean, in that community, you glorify these type of guys. Rapper 2 Chainz has a restaurant in Atlanta called Escobar's. Escobar Lounge, named after Pablo Escobar, and in one of his videos, they're shooting it there, and you can see the famous mugshot of Pablo Escobar. I think the people who have a problem with this, you shouldn't be watching Boardwalk Empire, you shouldn't be watching Peaky Blinders, you shouldn't be watching Narcos if you have a problem with a drug dealer's family licensing his name to make money off of merchandise or whatever it is. XOOX also say, I feel like he might have a comfy hoodie, but no. I just spit, I'm sorry. But in all seriousness, I wouldn't buy this merch if I feel like it's bad luck. Last but not least, Kenny Porter on Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, that's offensive. I can't grow a mustache, and you're playing April Fool's jokes about it. When is that line? Where's that line when it comes to that? That's your commercial break with Brandon. I got a field shoot today. I'm taking Stephanie's swing dances, so can't wait for you guys to see that. See you guys.
Welcome back to DBL. Remember when I talked about getting a package delivered to my house that wasn't mine? In case you missed it, here's what I said on the show last week. I have a Zappos box at my front door right now as we speak. My address, different name. Every time I walk by it, I contemplate, should I open it? See what's in there?
You can always send it back.
No, I'm not going to. It's a but since then, I notified the shipping company, told them that the box had the correct address but the wrong name, and at one point, a UPS worker even tucked the package away in a different spot on my porch. I also put a sign on the box saying it didn't belong to us. Eventually, I finally called Zappos, and they told me, keep the package. So I brought it with me today. We're going to open it. What? Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, this is really exciting.
Shoes?
I'm assuming it's shoes.
Okay, so it is shoes.
Okay.
Are you ready? They're New Balance.
It's a tiny box.
So cute, but they're size 1. So I was going to give them to Ford.
Yes, baby Ford will definitely.
Right?
Yes, he's a big kid already. He's 11 pounds at birth, so he'll grow into these very quickly. So thank you.
Well, I think that's around his size.
Yeah.
I know you call him baby Ford, but he's what, 3?
4. So, yeah.
It would be amazing if a viewer wrote in and they're like, hey, those are my shoes.
We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Wouldn't it be?
the DBL digital team here. Al is coming to join me for Between Shows with Shuby.
Hello.
We are talking about Michael Brown's mom. Now, her name is Leslie McSpadden. She's 39 years old, and she's decided to run for city council in Ferguson.
I saw, and that just makes me so happy because, you know, she's going to be really focused on police oversight.
It gives
and
me chills.
Right, and who better to be over that than somebody that not only has obviously
firsthand
incredible investment in that situation, but also like that's somebody that's young and is going to be passionate, diligent,
and passionate. Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with police oversight, of anything. So, and obviously Ferguson is a community that's had its issues with the police. So I think who better than her?
Yeah, so since 2014, when of course Michael Brown was shot by the police officer who was never indicted, Darren Wilson is his name. So since then, she has been at the edge of politics. She's been at the front and center of national Black Lives Matter movement. We've seen her. She's endorsed a Democratic presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton. So despite not having much candidate experience, I don't think that matters. I think you have to get out into your community to make a difference, and I think city council is a perfect place to start.
Right, and I think local politics is a big deal for everybody. I think
do too.
People get all up in arms about the president and things like that, and it's great to talk about those things, but what probably really affects your everyday life is your city council and the decisions that are being made on a local level.
And that's where you have to start.
Right, and I mean, honestly, that's the way that you can have the most impact on your individual community. So I say good on her, and I want everybody out there that if you feel like you can make a positive impact,
go out there and do it.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yep, Leslie, we're rooting for you. DBL Nation, let us know what you think. We'll see you soon.
Right.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It is Tuesday, April 2nd. We are live, and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. I am here with Tori, Jeff, Al, and I am Sam. Let's get started. Well, there is a manhunt underway right now for the suspect police say murdered 33-year-old rapper Nipsey Hussle outside his clothing store in Los Angeles on Sunday. This is 29-year-old Eric Holder, who police identified late yesterday as the suspect. They are desperately trying to find him before a reported hit is carried out. Meantime, at least 19 people were injured at a vigil for Nipsey Hussle last night, and 4 are hospitalized after a stampede. Police aren't sure what caused the panic, but initial reports of gunshots at the vigil apparently were not true, according to the police chief. Now, listen, this vigil was mostly peaceful. I want to speak about the positive when it comes to Nipsey Hussle. Al, something that really struck me was the community outreach. So I was listening to the press conference that the police put on, and you had community leaders from Crenshaw there, activists saying, we are going to continue on his work. We are going to continue to put funds into STEM here in our local schools. We are going to continue to buy up real estate, and they're going to continue to follow through with his mission of anti-gun violence despite his violent upbringing.
Right, people are sick and tired, especially people in my community are sick and tired of losing black men way too early. And there comes a point where it's intolerable anymore. And I feel like unfortunately, this young man had to lose his life. When I say young man, he was a young guy. For him to lose his life to galvanize a community that was already on its way. But I think this even further stamped in that people were like, this can't happen anymore. This isn't just going to be, we're going to spray paint RIP on the side of a building and keep it moving. This is going to be a changing day for that community, because it's not cool to be murdered at 33 in front of a place that you set up to be kind of like, you know, a bastion of safety for the people in your community. It's not cool, and I think people are sick and tired of it.
And people are following suit. So rest in power, Nipsey Hussle. Your legacy already continues, and that speaks volumes. Well, Deborah Norville is asking for prayers right now. The host of Inside Edition revealed yesterday that she is undergoing surgery to remove a cancerous tumor from her neck. Here's what she said about it.
The doctor says it's a very localized form of cancer, which tomorrow I'll have surgery to have removed. There'll be no chemo, I'm told no radiation, but I will have surgery and I'll be away for a bit. So Diane will be holding down the fort. If you believe in prayer, Please say one for me and for my surgeon. And I thank you very much.
And Deborah's assistant just tweeted out this picture on her official Twitter account, writing that she's out of surgery and everything went great. But get this, Deborah has a TV viewer to thank for all of this. An eagle-eyed viewer spotted the lump on her neck and wrote into the show about it. And that's when Deborah got it checked out and has been monitoring it ever since. I think of you, Tori, because you interact. I mean, we all interact with our DBL Nation, but you are on it. You're communicating with them constantly. Have you ever had any of them point anything out that you took more issue with or even attention to?
Yesterday they thought I was dressed for April Fool's, but it was just my style, which is very embarrassing, but thank you for writing in. Someone did write when they were in need of some help and support, and one of our own DBL Nation viewers wrote in, and they started their own conversation.
It's amazing.
And became friends on their own, and there's a DBL page that a DBL Nation, Stacey Sorber, started on Facebook. So it's become a community, but things like this, it can literally save your life. So we owe a lot to our viewers. It's an incredible story of luck. But also, she took that advice and went to a doctor.
Yeah, what if she was flippant about it? Because I know someone like you and Jordan, you know, you guys have they have a big celebrity fan base coming off of Big Brother. People must write you both all the time. How would you know to pay attention to it?
You're right. It's hard to weed out which ones are real, which ones are fake.
Does this make you think twice?
It does. It actually does. If someone, because there are good out there. We look at social media, it's such a bad thing, me included, and I try to be positive about everything, but social media just brings me down sometimes. So if I see something like that, like, hey, there's something on your wife's face, you should get that checked out.
Or something like that?
Delete. That's my first instinct, is just delete.
Not
I don't know what
anymore,
you're talking about. Now it's like if there's something to look into that we were already talking about, like, I think I have this thing, and then someone else pointed it out, then it might be worth getting a second look at it. You know?
Hey, yeah, I want to take it seriously too. We are tracking the winners and the losers from yesterday's April Fool's Day pranks, and Dr. Phil might have won when he tweeted out these pictures, making everyone think he shaved off his famous mustache. But to all those who were gullible enough to believe him, he cleared it up with this video.
April Fools, you didn't really think I would do it, right? I'd look like an aardvark if I took this off.
What? But we're not so sure he's right that he looks like an aardvark without the stash. Check out the side-by-side. But some are saying he looks more like Danny DeVito's penguin. Might be a little harsh.
That's the harshest thing you could ever say to someone.
That's harsh.
That was Stone's Throne.
I don't know if it's Stone's Throne.
What do you call it?
He just compared himself to an aardvark.
So what if on his show he compares you to something?
He compared himself, though. I would be very happy if he compared me to something, because then Dr. Phil's talking about
from the Penguin?
Sure.
I don't think so.
Okay. But yesterday's pranks have a lot of people angry with the Biebs. The singer started the day off by posting this sonogram photo with the caption, "Congratulations, the legacy continues." Bieber then posted this picture of his wife Haley at what appears to be a doctor's appointment, writing, "If you thought it was April Fool's, think again," which of course led a bunch of fans to think he was being serious. Some congratulated him. But finally, Bieber posted this sonogram with a puppy, revealing his joke. Well, a lot of people were not laughing. One person tweeted, "Honestly, not a funny joke when millions of women are struggling with infertility and other issues of that sort. Sad." And another tweeted that she unfollowed the Biebs for his joke, saying it was not funny. Well, Justin Bieber just apologized, posting this to Instagram, saying he is so sorry to people who were offended. I heard you visibly sigh, Al.
Yes, audibly sigh.
Oh, yeah.
But
You're right.
But no, you know, is this where we are, Sam? Are we apologizing for jokes on April Fools? Is this a society we want to live in? Tori, you're a comic. I think this is a bit too far. He was trying to make a joke. It's like every joke you can make. If he was eating at a buffet, at Pizza Hut, he just had 2 slices of pizza, people would be like, I have an eating disorder and that's not funny. Some people can't control. Whatever you make a joke about somebody struggling with, and you know, so then no jokes?
Here's the thing. I agree with you, first off, and especially as a comic, I want to be able to protect that. However, I think you have to be thoughtful of your audience, and I think he didn't really read the room, and I think he was a bit tone deaf. Do I think he's allowed to do that? Yeah. Do I think a lot of his audience is female that might be struggling and look to him for some power and positivity, and that might have really hurt them? Yeah. I got a lot of comments already that I'm being too PC about this, and that's okay. I'd rather be more concerned than less, but I think he should say it. I'm just not sure it was the smartest thing to do.
It's April Fool's Day. It's a day for jokes. You know, that's what he tweeted. Tom Brady tweeted that he's retiring. My dream is to get into NFL. Should I be offended by what Tom Brady wrote?
Is there a way to not it be extreme either way? Is there a way for people? Yeah. Is there a way for people to comment to him to start the conversation? Of course, don't say you're going to unfollow him. That's not fair because he had no malice. In his
there was no intent in that. Yeah,
but is there a way to have a conversation about it without being offended and snowflake?
No, if you're offended, unfollow him. That's it. That's all.
Why does it have to be so extreme? Is my question.
Why do you have to write him?
But why can't you just say, hey, just be aware that 1 in 8 women in America alone are suffering with infertility, and that pregnancy announcements are not a joke?
Let's say Jeff made a joke on April Fool's Day saying I'm leaving DBL, and he gets up and leaves, and then he comes back. I was just kidding. And then some people go, did you know unemployment 1 out of every 6 Americans?
You can see the difference, Al. With pregnancy and unemployment, like there's something I think vastly personal there.
Believe me, I don't think he should be silenced. I don't think he should have even had to, I guess, apologize. But I do think it's important that people should feel like they can talk and be heard.
Without being called so
PC or then unfollow me. That's too extreme. Why can't we just have a conversation without being extreme on either side?
Because I feel like people who are saying that are being extreme.
Not if they're currently going through infertility and they can't wait to announce their pregnancy announcement.
So
and
the straw that broke the camel's back for them, because they're having trouble with infertility, which I know about. Justin Bieber posted, so now their world is crumbled?
Well, first of all, I'm not offended. So somehow I got pigeonholed over here. No, I don't like it at all. But my point is, it's important to listen to the other side, because there are 1 in 8 people in America dealing with infertility, and I'm just saying, I don't want them to not feel heard. I don't think it needs to be so extreme as unfollow me. Just have the conversation, listen to people, but let's not also put Justin Bieber's head on a plate. I get that too, because that's not fair either.
I wasn't trying to pigeonhole you.
I felt like it. I felt a little tact for a second when I'm not even offended.
No, you're presenting the other side, and we appreciate that. I mean,
what does that mean?
You do learn through jokes like what's appropriate and what's not, and there are things that I've said on stage with somebody. I got off stage and they'd be like, hey, man.
Was it the smartest thing to say? Probably not. Should he have been able to say it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're right in the middle there.
I agree.
All right. I don't want to pigeonhole anybody.
I felt a little attacked there, and it's not even my opinion. I'm just trying to speak for the masses.
And then I was sad. That was my
actual.
We love you for that, Sammy.
All right, DBL is live. We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. Coming up, an iconic 1970s TV house is getting an all-star renovation. HGTV star Mina Starziak Hawk takes us behind the scenes with some surprising dish on the Brady actors. Also, Barbara Bush was a beloved First Lady, but a new book is stirring controversy over claims she had a bitter feud with another political wife. And you, the viewer, are our 5th host. A small town is fighting over what to include in its new sex ed curriculum, not wanting to include some members of the LGBTQ community. So DBL Nation, you're fired up. We're going to share those comments coming up next.
Hi guys, Kelly Schubert with the DBL Digital team here. We didn't get to the David Blaine story in this block, but I did want to update you. I just heard from his representative, and I wanted to read you his statement. It says, excuse me, it's not attaching to this email, but I've got it right here. He denies the accusations that have been reported and takes these allegations seriously and says he will cooperate with any investigation. So that's what's going on with that, but let's go to the table and see what's going on over here.
Oh,
hey guys, what's happening?
I just said people feel. I never made it about me.
Do you guys want to keep talking? Or?
Yeah, we can keep talking.
Yes.
We're still talking about the Justin Bieber story. Yeah, I somehow felt like, and I could be totally wrong for feeling this way, I somehow felt like that I was the person offended when I'm not offended.
Right.
I just want the people that were offended to be heard without being told that they're too PC. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Right. Do you want to talk about something? I don't know. I'm going to switch gears here just to get off this. But does anyone watch Veep out there? You guys don't watch Veep.
I watch Veep.
Do I really need to start it? Is it that good?
It's really funny, but I watched the first episode.
30 minutes or hour?
30 minutes. So you can
I've never seen any episode.
I think you would love it. So I watched the first episode of the new season yesterday, which came out Sunday.
How many seasons
I watched
so
it
far?
yesterday. 7.
They made 7. Yeah.
This is the 7th season. But in the episode, I don't know how to put this. They talk about gun violence a lot, and they say, "Hey, Ms. President, your thing got delayed because there was a school shooting." Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, the school shooting." Then a reporter asked her, and she doesn't know what to say about it. And then in the end, she wasn't prepared for this big speech, and they're like, "There was a school shooting," and they're like, maybe we could use this to our advantage. And they're like, send the shooter some thank you flowers. And I was like, and they're like, well, he's dead. He shot himself. And they're like, well, send it to his wife. And I was like, Dude, this is really, like, really...
How does she handle it?
I don't know, and I'm surprised people aren't talking about it because I just watched it for the first time yesterday. It's a joke. It's flippant.
I'll watch it tonight. So is she?
The whole thing's comical.
So
the whole thing is satire. The whole thing is.
So it's supposed to be provocative,
right,
but that seems a bit. What did you think when you saw it?
I was kind of like,
did you think it was too much?
I thought it was too much, and I don't get offended. So I was like, whoa, that was a little much for me. So if you guys watch right in and let me know what you think, because nobody said anything.
Was the point of it to show
also,
that
people
gun
writing
violence
in
is so
that a lot of
normal?
people visibly sigh.
See, it was to show.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Well, sex education is causing a huge battle in a small Michigan town. A trans child is a resident, and her supporters asked the school district to update the sex ed curriculum to include the mention of LGBTQ people, but other parents pushed back hard. They don't want any mention of transgender students and say sex ed should focus on abstinence only. So DBL Nation, what do you think? Should sex ed in schools mention LGBTQ students?
Allison from Utah.
Can I, before you even start,
yes.
Al is a former educator and you also taught sex ed.
Right, I taught sex ed for 5 years. I'll read what Allison from YouTube has to say. She says, no, it's not the school's job to teach that. When it comes to those details, parents should discuss that in their own homes if they choose. Allison, you're correct in an ideal world. Unfortunately, some people don't have, you want to think this, but a lot of people don't have a parent and maybe even two parents to talk to them about things like this. So somebody like me that was a science teacher was the only line of defense, especially if this child did not go on to college, about what they were going to know about sex. And that was a responsibility I took very seriously. So just make sure when you throw out, well, their parents should talk, just remember that ideally that's great, but a lot of times there's not one or two parents to talk.
What a fantastic point. Krista from Facebook says, yes, we need to talk about it with our kids as a form of education to prevent the spread of hate.
Amen.
Sweeping issues under the rug, that doesn't work. I could not agree with you more, Krista. And I respect people that feel that this is uncomfortable. Remember, this is an elective class. You can elect to take this, and that's something you can understand. I think that's important to realize that when you're educating, you have to include gender identity as part of sex ed, or else you're sort of teaching ignorance. So if you really want to educate your students about a world they're about to face in 2019, you better include LGBTQ community, or otherwise.
Would this come up in any other class? They'd be like, yeah, we're going to do history, but we're going to leave out the slavery part because that's uncomfortable.
Right. The Holocaust, let's not mention it.
Yeah, people don't like it.
Donna from YouTube says, I really feel that it depends on the age of the students and how the subject of LGBTQ identity is framed. You know, I think that's a great point. I agree with you there. It does depend on the age and how it's framed. But the people who are offended by this subject, who don't want to talk about it, I think are the very people who need this class.
I'm so happy you said that, Jeff. Because I think the reason why, and we all know this, that if you're empathetic and educated, then you're not going to be discriminatory and you're not going to act out with hate, right?
Yes.
And when we know that our trans teens are more likely to commit suicide and more likely to be victims of hate crimes, don't you think we should all rally behind them and say, how do we make you feel comfortable and welcomed and included? By telling them they don't exist is literally, it's the very problem why they are victims of suicide.
Why suicide is an option. They feel like it's an option.
So education, it's so simple.
And Jeff, you always talk about your travels helped you learn about different people, and it's changed who you are as a person. It's learning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Get to know somebody that makes you uncomfortable, and I guarantee you, after meeting them, you will not be uncomfortable anymore. That's the whole point of education. That's what this is.
What a beautiful statement. It is so true. So true. Coming up on DBL, the Brady Bunch. Yep, the Brady Bunch is coming up, and as well as some other good stuff, so stay tuned.
Hey DBL Nation, and welcome to The Breaks, where we bring you all the latest trending stories around the web. And this is trending all over the web, specifically on comic book. Avengers tickets have just gone on sale today. And guys, it is already wrecking websites. AMC Theaters was down earlier. Fandango was having a little bit of trouble earlier. Atom Tickets was getting backed up. I mean, a lot of people are out there buying tickets for this movie. I mean, guys, for those who don't know, this is the lead up, the final installment in all of the Marvel films that have been coming out. So your Iron Mans, your Thors, your Captain Americas. This is the lead up to this event. Those were all 10 years of movies that led specifically to this one, and this is going to wrap up the Marvel Cinematic Universe from the last 10 years and start a completely new chapter. So this is a huge movie that everybody's been anticipating for about 11 years now. As I said, you can get them on Atom Tickets, you can get them on Fandango, but specifically, this one's trending on comicbook.com. The in-game directors, that's Joe and Anthony Russo, have both come out and said they did not give Tom Holland the script. That does not mean he's not in the movie, guys. That does not mean Spider-Man is not in the movie. So Tom Holland plays Spider-Man. He's still going to be in it, but he only gets his lines. He's not going to get the whole script because they said that he spills the beans way too much and nobody wants any spoilers. But DBO Nation, write us in and let us know, are you going to see Avengers Endgame, and have you seen the other Marvel movies? We'll see you next break.
Welcome back to DBL. Spring is here, and HGTV star Mina Starziak-Hawk's biggest tip this season is to head to Lowe's for your DIY home projects. I also chatted with her about one of HGTV's biggest renovations yet. All 6 Brady siblings reunited, along with the Good Bones host and her HGTV co-stars, for a retro renovation of the iconic Brady Bunch house in today's DBL Spotlight. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. Mina, thank you so much for joining us. You've got a chance to team up with your fellow HGTV stars and all 6 Brady kids to renovate the real Brady Bunch home. So did it feel like a family reunion, kind of?
It did. Honestly, I think all of us, all the HGTV people and the Brady cast, we all just kind of hugged, and then it's like we'd known each other forever.
I wish I'd been there. Now, HGTV outbid both Maureen McCormick, this is AKA Marsha Brady, and singer Lance Bass to purchase the home. Lance actually helped with the renovation, so I have to know, Mina, were they good sports?
Honestly, I did not know they outbid Maureen. I knew that they did Lance Bass. Right. And I think originally there was some hard feelings there, but I think it's all kind of come full circle, and you know, they don't have a plan for what they're gonna do with the house, so maybe it'll end up in one of their hands eventually anyway.
That's a good point. There you go. Now, out of all the Brady kids, we need to know who has the most potential to join the HGTV family as a DIY home renovator.
I think as far as like energy, Maureen, she's down. She's like, what do you need me to do? Give me a sledgehammer. And she's this big, but she is all in. But a lot of the other cast have very strong skill sets. Architecture, one of them owns like a concrete company. So they've got a lot going for them. Like, I don't know how to use a CAD program, and Jan does.
Wow, Jan, way to go. Now, before you go, I got to give you a quiz on some Brady trivia just to see how well you got to know the real-life Brady Bunch kids.
Oh, gosh.
Which Brady kid ended up going out on a date with their TV mom, Florence Henderson?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna guess Bobby. That's what's coming to my head.
I like that you said that, but it's actually Greg Brady, Barry Williams. Okay. So you're 0 for 0. I like it. Now, which Brady kid competed in Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, it's he's got the curly hair and he's always kind of nice and tan.
She's always Marsha, Maureen McCormick, Marsha Brady.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was one of the brothers.
I did too, actually. Now, which Brady kid was the only sibling to decline being part of the Brady Bunch Hour variety show?
I think it was Jan.
Yes, girl! Jan Brady.
Okay, I got one.
I'm very proud of you.
I'll take it.
Well, thank you so much, Mina. We look forward to the big Brady Bunch home reveal on HGTV.
Thank you.
We will be right back.
All right, you guys are chiming on the fifth host. A lot of interesting comments here. Vicky Riddle Shockley from Louisville. By the way, Louisville's a great town. I've shot 2 movies there. I really like it there. Keep Louisville weird. She says, no way. Schools are always overreaching. Just teach school, you know, like reading, writing, math, English, history, government. No lifestyles. This had to be a Democrat's suggestion. Possibly. I'm not really sure what the root of the legislation was. But I'm not sure who's challenging it, because the school district maintains that they should keep the education just at as a pro-abstinence level. I believe it was a teacher, perhaps, that they learned about who was teaching the lifestyle elements of it. So I think that's what's going on, Vicky. Denzel Mason says, so all of you are saying no, the rest of the world is supposed to act as though it doesn't exist just to make you feel comfortable? Bobby Noyes in Tampa says, government needs to stay out of school. You know, Bobby, that's a very interesting point that you make there, because I think that's at the root of what we're talking about here, is what you want parents to educate, how you want parents to educate their children, and how you want schools to educate their children. And when you think about it, you know, there are a number of different elements and ways that the children can be educated. I think the sex ed is an elective course, but apparently their point was to promote abstinence, was to teach children the dangers of STDs, of, you know, all of that. And I don't know what grade level this is at, by the way, but anyway, Alexander GR, they shouldn't, of course, that's a political agenda. Michael Milat, all sexual activity where straight, gay, bisexual, transgender, or anything that involves sex should be taught so younger adults are educated on safer practices. So a lot of mixed opinions on here. Ricky Thiel says it's sex education, not gender education. Gender is a social construct and has very little to do with biology. Ricky, I think people like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro make that argument too. They've talked about it quite a bit at length on the biological component of it, the scientific element. So I don't know if you've listened to them, but they're 2 individuals to look into. They've talked about it at length. Sylvia Chingwa says, how about we just mind our own business? Good point, Sylvia. Stephanie Joe here in Denver. Yes, while they're at it, they can teach some compassion and tolerance for lifestyles other than the one they lead. You know, Stephanie, you bring up a good point too, which has to do with schools and again, what we should be teaching, whether we should be teaching fair play, respect at home, respect in the workplace. That's an interesting point that you bring up, because again, it's about what you think schools and how you think schools should be educating children. Should we be teaching work dynamics, personal dynamics, choices, gender choices or sexual choices? That's something that's really up for debate in the country right now. John Corey says, yes, if not, then you are dismissing a population and its educational needs. All right. Laura Phillips says, I think it depends on the age of the students. What grade are they talking about? It's a good point, Laura. I just brought that up a couple minutes ago. I'm not sure what age they're teaching this at, but that is important, because it is a very vulnerable time in a child's life. So some of them have not fully rooted out where their identities are or where their sexual preferences are, and that vulnerability could be exactly why the district thinks that it shouldn't be teaching those things. Finally, Nancy Brock, no, stop requiring schools to do all this nonsense. No one is saying they should discriminate, but having to include this kind of thing in the curriculum is absurd. What's next? All great points of view. Love them. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to DBL. It's that time of the week where our favorite puppy pitchman, Roman, shows us a new dog up for adoption. Pay attention this time, because this next dog may steal your heart. Meet Ruben in today's Roman's Rescues.
Hi everyone, I'm here at the Augusta Animal Services with my friend Ruben here. And he's a year and a half and heartworm negative. He's a little energetic, well, a lot of energetic, and really sweet. Ruben is a pit bull mix.
He would do good with maybe somebody who was like a runner.
A runner would be great for
burn
Ruben.
off all that energy.
Yeah, maybe 5 blocks a day.
He's like, I want to play.
Please adopt him.
What do you say?
Thank you. Bye.
I know. If you're a runner, someone with a high energy in the family, these kind of dogs are great, because if you can run out their energy and you want to run with the dog, think of high energy dogs. It's a match made in heaven.
And a lot of people want that companion to go on runs with.
Absolutely.
So it's a match made in heaven.
Exactly.
Way to go, Roman. We love you. Let's get Ruben, right? Ruben adopted. If you're leaving us right now, you can still watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
Happy Equal Pay Day! We'll tell you how your favorite celebs like Oprah and Meryl Streep are fighting for pay equality. Plus,
First Lady feud. You won't believe the nasty nickname Nancy Reagan had for the Bushes. And it's Game of Thrones mania as America goes wild for the final season. Did star Maisie Williams just drop a major spoiler? Find out when we come back.
Dumbo gonna be a big flop? Apple TV enters the streaming TV world while rumors are swirling about YouTube Premium. And Borderlands 3 is on the way. That's all next in the Jump Off. I'm Abby and welcome to the Jump Off. I'm here to bring you all the latest news in gaming, tech, and nerd culture, so let's get started right now. Tim Burton's Dumbo remake is getting mixed reviews. IGN calls it mediocre and says the remake fails to reach the lofty heights of its animated predecessor. But the Washington Post gives it 3.5 out of 4 stars, calling it decidedly and deliciously dark. The Guardian gave the movie 1 star. Just one little star, that's it. I think that's pretty harsh. We have our own review up on the Daily Blast Live YouTube channel, so go check that out and let us know what you think of the movie. Have you guys heard about Apple's new streaming service? It's something from the future, but everyone already has one. Apple TV Plus will bring together streaming channels and service from other providers, but they'll also add their own original content. We're hearing there will be a sci-fi project starring Jason Momoa and a morning show with Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell, and Jennifer Aniston. It's set to come out in the fall. We have no idea how much Apple TV Plus is gonna cost, so you better start saving now. And while Apple TV is bringing all this original content, could YouTube be getting rid of theirs? Bloomberg had reported YouTube could be canceling their comedies and dramas, but YouTube's head of original content says that's not true. YouTube's premier Karate Kid sequel show, Cobra Kai, just released a new trailer for the 2nd season.
Okinawan karate, true karate, by joining the Miyagi-Do team, because at Miyagi-Do, it's not about the money, it's about the karate.
The new season premieres on YouTube Premium April 24th. 2K Games has announced a new Borderlands game is in development. It's been 7 years since the last Borderlands game was released. And if you haven't heard of the game, it's a highly stylized first-person shooter. It lets you and your friends team up against monsters and the main villain, Handsome Jack, in a world full of attitude. There's no word yet on when Borderlands 3 will be released, but I'm gonna be playing every weekend. That's it for the Jump Off. As always, I'll be here every week with the latest in gaming, tech, and nerd culture news. We'll see you
right now.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now, so let's get started. Today is World Autism Awareness Day. People around the world are wearing blue to recognize people living on the autism spectrum. It's also National Reconciliation Day, a time to patch up relationships or misunderstandings, and it's Equal Pay Day to bring awareness to pay discrepancies between men and women. It's on a Tuesday because it represents how far into the work week a woman works to earn as much as a man doing the same exact job. But since 1980, the pay gap has slowly been closing. Women make 85 cents to every dollar a man makes. For workers ages 25 to 34, it's 89 cents. That's according to Pew Research Center. And today, Time is featuring women who are the first in their industry, like Nancy Pelosi, who is the first woman to become Speaker of the House, Aretha Franklin, who was the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Oprah Winfrey, who is the first woman to own and produce her own talk show. Listen to what she has to say.
I went to my boss at the time and I said, everybody needs a raise. And he said, why? He actually said to me, they're only girls. They're a bunch of girls. What do they need more money for?
Wow, we definitely have come a long way. We do have some ways to go, Tori. I just want to clarify that the 89 cents, that is for the 89 cents on the dollar for white women.
Yeah, exactly.
So women of color make far less, and Latina women make, I believe, 30 cents on the dollar. So I think it's important to speak about the discrepancy
amongst women as well.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I think it's very important to sort of showcase women, to speak up for women, and to understand firsts are important. If we didn't have an Oprah Winfrey, I don't know if we'd be at this table today. So we have to represent, even if you don't like Nancy Pelosi, even if you don't like someone on the other side, these women have conquered and pioneered and pushed through a time in which there was no help whatsoever. So it's a proud day.
And it's also important, you know, the He for She campaign, right? When you see men speaking up, we saw that with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. Like, no, we're doing the same amount of work. We have the same amount of resume. Let's make sure that we get paid equally. And I think that's important,
I think we can look to pro sports, and Jeff, you're a fan, so you would know this too. Pro sports does something where basically free agents, what they do, what's called is they set the market. So let's say that Jeff is out of his contract. He's up for a new contract. He's agreed to be the best wide receiver in football. So he comes out and he decides he's been offered $10 million to play for a season. Now that's the market. So now we can slot the other people that are statistically right below that. Jeff, the second best guy gets this amount. The second best person gets this amount. And this way we can statistically make sure that what people are getting are fair and it's transparent. We know what everybody in the NFL makes down to the penny. So why don't we see that in corporate life?
Right. And I'm just all getting paid what you're owed. That's all. I don't care what color you are, if you're a woman, if you're LGBTQ. I don't care what you are.
You just want it to be fair.
Yeah, if you do your job and you do it well and you work harder than other people, you put in more hours, you drive that bus longer. Sam loves this analogy. You drive 100 blocks, the other person only drives it 50. You get paid double than what that person. I don't care what color you are, who you are, what it is. We need to get to that point. I love these firsts. I think it's great that people are breaking through. But a lot of these firsts, especially like in politics, I don't know who you are other than you're the first black woman to do this. I don't know who you are other than you're the LGBTQ person. I don't know who you are. I need to start learning about who you are, what your politics are, what you're doing. What you're doing is great, breaking through is great, but now you need to start knowing what you're about. We need to get rid of all the other stuff.
All right, love it, love it, love it. Well, we have to mention some other national days today. If you didn't know, it's also National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day.
How do we not have peanut butter jelly time ready to play?
Wouldn't that be fantastic? I want some peanut butter and jelly time. By the time the average American has graduated high school, they will have eaten over 2,000 PB&Js. And if peanut butter isn't your thing, you can celebrate National Ferret Day. What days are we missing? Is there a day for everything? What day would you want?
I'm over these days. I was already venting, and then you had to bring this up.
Could you pick any day?
No, because they're all done.
A day to not have days.
Yeah. There's 3 days on one day? You can't have that, bless you. You can't have all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's too many days. Today's National Bagel Without Cream Cheese Day.
First of all, I would celebrate that day.
Don't you have stuff to do?
You know, especially because I'm sorry, but like big things like autism awareness and equal pay, don't put them on the same day.
Reconciliation Day?
With PB&J Day?
It takes it away.
It takes it away. I agree.
Yeah.
Does that apply to you guys with the PB&Js?
I just think it should be selective.
Right.
Let's talk about equal pay. I even think Reconciliation Day could be a cool thing if you really want to forgive somebody, but let's not couple it with Ferret Day. Although I love me some ferrets. All right, we're going to take a hard turn right now because the New York Police Department confirms it is investigating allegations against magician David Blaine. So let's get right to Kelly Schubert with those details. Kelly.
Right now, David Blaine is responding to sexual assault allegations that are reportedly being investigated by the NYPD. 2 women accuse the magician of sexual assault, and the New York Post reports one of the women says he hypnotized her into compliance. Both accusers say they were attacked by Blaine more than 20 years ago, so the allegations are outside of the statute of limitations, making it unclear how the NYPD will proceed. But Sam, just minutes ago I heard from David Blaine's rep, who says he denies the accusations that have been reported and takes these allegations seriously, and that he will cooperate with any investigation. I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, you just want to understand that there's a bizarre statute. The statute of limitations for this sexual assault may be over, but there's a certain statute that says the moment, if you have repressed memories, the moment you remember the assault is when the statute of limitations occurs. So if she was hypnotized and didn't remember and then remembers recently, that's a whole new ballgame because it starts fresh from that moment.
We'll have to continue to follow this case because this
that's super interesting. I know we don't have time, but
it's a little it's controversial. That I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that's in the law.
This also wasn't his first accusation. There was another very detailed accusation. I believe it was about a year and a half ago that detailed rape. And again, that was just an accusation, but This isn't the first.
Yeah.
All right. Former First Lady Barbara Bush is dishing the deets on some White House drama, and it's all detailed in a new book on her life, The Matriarch by Susan Page, and it is out today. And in the book, Barbara talks about her relationship with former First Lady Nancy Reagan. The two spent time together when Ronald Reagan was president and George H.W. Bush was VP, and apparently the two women did not get along. In the book, we learn Nancy called the Bushes, are you ready for this? The Shrubs, and even didn't invite them to a dinner with Princess Diana or to the family's quarters in the White House, and never ever to Camp David. Apparently, Barbara had enough and hung up on Nancy when she tried to call to kill some bad publicity between the two of them. That, of course, is all according to the new book. But this isn't also new revelations. I've heard, you know, that Barbara Bush is very warm, and that Nancy Reagan was a little bit more cold.
It seems like the classic, like everybody's got their mean granny and their nice granny. Like Nancy Reagan has a little bit of mean granny, like the granny that's cooking and like kind of takes shots at your mom, and you're like, I'm too young to know, but I know that you're kind of dissing her. Well, let's see if your mom can hold on to this one. You're like, oh. Like I think that that's what we're dealing with. I think Nancy Reagan is a little bit buttoned up, and just it seems like Barbara Bush is like, hey, I'm the first lady, but once that door closes and the press goes out, like we're gonna barbecue and laugh it up and have some scotch.
And also, like, yeah, the first ladies, it's odd. That's your house, and you're coming in and you redecorate and redo things, and you don't agree. Some people put a bowling alley,
So you think that amplifies it?
I think that amplifies when you're literally moving into that other person's home
and then redoing it all.
Literally redoing their style.
That's a good point.
Isn't this a little bit of like, hey, listen, Nancy Reagan can't defend herself, so I can say whatever I want type of story? Well, we're not getting her side of the story. We're never going to get her side of the story, but you could say whatever you want. How do I know that's how it went down?
I know.
That's the problem with these books.
Yep, I know.
Thank goodness for social media. Everyone just fires insults all the time.
They've been on me the whole time. They didn't get to see any of that.
Oh, I was acting out over here.
You were doing
I was doing a lot of hand motions. You missed it.
Every time you get on a plane, you get the same safety talk, specifically no smoking in the lavatories. Apparently, actor Grant Gustin from The Flash wasn't listening. TMZ reports the actor was caught vaping in the bathroom, and witnesses say the smoke was so intense it set off a smoke alarm. The captain and co-pilot had to put on oxygen masks. Fortunately, the flight did not have to make an emergency landing, and Grant was left off with just a warning. That surprises you.
A warning?
Yeah, right?
Dude,
so tell me why you're surprised.
What do you mean? You break the rules, you pay the price. I don't care if you did a movie. What does that make you?
So he got unfair treatment.
Absolutely unfair treatment. You got to pay the piper when you do something wrong.
Especially when
the piper.
Yeah,
that's right. That's how I go.
I don't know where to go from there, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, they make that no smoking thing like really
intense. Aren't you supposed to pay $250,000 if you tamper?
Yes,
I mean, and like we're talking about, like I know that the vape necessarily doesn't have a flame to it, but I mean, in an enclosed situation like that, anything that sets off the fire alarm that could cause the pilots to panic.
Yeah.
It could cause things to malfunction. I mean, you're playing with people's lives because you can't wait to vape.
How
are you, 12?
And how did he just get a warning? I'm with Jeff on this.
Do you think that he should be taken off as the Flash?
No, come on.
No, that's
he should be taken off flying.
Yeah.
Have fun getting around in a bus for the next year. That's what I'm serious.
Yeah. Hey,
but he's rich though. He can get like the Madden Cruiser.
Yeah, it is. If I was on that plane with my kids, I already don't like flying, and the oxygen mask came down, and I'm with my kids, I'd freak out. And then I saw the Flash did it. Me and the Flash would have a little talk.
Get on that bus.
See those powers work in aisle 13.
Oh, and paid the piper? Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, is it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Pay the piper?
Pay the piper?
All right.
It's back from like collecting taxes.
It's pay the piper.
Pay the piper?
Listen,
it's pay the piper.
Okay, I don't know.
My knowledge is vast.
Coming up on DBL, it's one of the hottest interactive museum exhibits in the country right now, and our own. Jeff and Jordan, check it out. So how do they compare to the Renaissance genius Leonardo da Vinci? But up next, Game of Thrones fans are going nuts for the new trailer that hit today, and they think it has some spoilers. And what's up with Throne star Maisie Williams? Why are fans laughing after she raced off the Jimmy Fallon set? We have all the latest GOT news coming up next.
pay the piper. I've always heard
I've never heard of that.
I've heard like, hey, sometimes you got to pay the piper, and I think it comes from old times.
What does it mean?
I think
he
like
played
the collecting.
rats off.
No, collecting taxes.
Wait. What was your interpretation? No, there was rats in a village, and this piper came, the Pied Piper, and the rats followed him, and he got the rats and snakes out of the town. That's the story.
How do you pay him?
There was no paying. I think it's
They
playing.
pay the piper to get rid of them.
Fact check.
How do you get them out of there?
The dictionary says
to get rid of them.
The dictionary says it's pay the piper, and
to get rid of them.
Yeah, and the dictionary says it's bearing the consequences of something you have enjoyed. So it's exactly how Jeff used it.
But what about the snakes?
I'll figure out
That's
the
the
snakes.
origin.
Where does it come from to get rid of all the rats? Okay, it originates from the story of the Pied Piper. Originates. I didn't know I was wrong. The town of Hamlin agrees to pay the piper to get rid of all the rats. When they fail to pay the piper, and the piper plays the pipe, that's what a piper is, he steals their kids. Okay, that escalated differently.
You better watch it.
The earliest town reference is 1300 AD. Whoa.
See?
The fact that
medieval.
you guys haven't heard of it, that should be pretty embarrassing.
Well, I don't think it was said right. I thought it was
said perfect.
I'm wrong. I thought it was play the piper. I think it is because the piper is playing.
No, it's definitely not.
The piper is
use that
playing.
statement, hey, we need to play the piper tonight.
It's time to pay the piper. It's like
Do you agree that the piper does play?
No, I agree that you're wrong. You're definitely wrong.
that he doesn't play.
It's pay the piper. It's pay the piper because it means you have to pay now what you've done.
Reap what you sow.
Right.
But I thought you were paying the piper to get the rats
So like
out.
he just got a warning? No, he's got to pay the piper for what he did, smoking that vape.
Okay. But the piper
You gotta
plays
reap
the piper.
what you sow.
You gotta reap what you sow. It's still pay the piper.
Now, could you admit that you're wrong?
Why can't you wrap your head around it?
Today's Reconciliation Day.
Oh, you're right. It's also National Fair Day. I was trying to ferret out this information. Okay. Thank you.
Today's
Welcome back to DBL. I have 3 words for you. Winter is coming. We're only 12 days away from the Game of Thrones final season premiere. And just hours ago, an eerie new trailer titled Aftermath dropped. Let's take a look. How do you know it was his sword?
Because he's got the wolf on the end of it.
And he also, isn't that the sword that kills the White Walkers? Because it's made out of
Valerian steel. Oh, I know everything today.
Wow. Oh my God.
I just want to say, Sam, you've acted in movies before.
Yeah, I have.
And you were doing a good job of acting like you know what they're talking about right now.
Well, I was excited that it was Jon Snow.
We're gonna catch you up before it starts.
Yeah, I think I will.
There are 21 episodes that the director said that you can watch. They'll catch you up. So you're a busy mom. You don't have time. You have a side business. So you don't have time to really watch all those episodes.
Like that?
That's how I talk. So I'm saying we're gonna watch these 21 episodes and you're gonna join our Game of Thrones party. Yes.
Okay, I will join your party.
Team Sam.
I will.
Sam.
Team
Does your husband Mark watch it?
No, but he will now with 21 episodes.
21.
We
You guys
can do
knocked it out.
21. We can do
That's
21.
12 days?
Yeah.
All right, cool. No, I'm with you. I want you to.
Don't you think that with the sword like that means the downfall of Jon Snow?
We have other beats to get to. Sorry, guys. We got other parts about it.
Okay,
Fans are also talking about the April Fool's prank Maisie Williams pulled on the Tonight Show last night. The Arya Stark actress looks like she was aiming for a few laughs, but received some awkward tension instead. Check it out.
When I found out that Arya died in like the 2nd episode, I was...
What? That's a spoiler.
April Fool's! Oh, how mad would you have been if you were in the audience and that was a real spoiler? What would you have done?
She's my favorite character, so I would have been freaked out. I wouldn't have liked it.
What would you have done?
I don't know.
Would you have gasped?
Maybe a gasp.
I don't know if I've ever gasped before.
I've heard you gasp.
No, you have not.
I think I have. We've heard gasps in the studio.
When I said Ghostbusters with all women stunk.
That was maybe my favorite day on DBL.
We should have captured the sound in here.
Huge gasp in the studio when you said that.
Why aren't people upset about this, but they're upset about Justin Bieber's April Fool's prank? This is very
Because
scary.
one has to do with pregnancy and infertility. The other one has to do with a scripted series.
You got me on
that.
That's
I got you on
fair
that.
point.
Yes.
I'll let you now.
Yes.
It's Reconciliation Day. Let her have one.
Thank you. Oh, you let me. All right, we are not done with Game of Thrones just yet. With a new season comes the marketing blitz, but this year the hype is on a whole new level. Fans can feel fierce like the Dragon Queen with Game of Thrones makeup from Urban Decay, or stay warm during the long winter with a Johnny White Walker whiskey. Ooh. And here's my favorite. HBO partnered with the Red Cross to sponsor a Game of Thrones themed blood drive. And look at this. The show came alive Sunday night at Bellagio Fountain in Vegas. A 3-minute display of dragons and night walkers appeared on the fountain jets while the theme song played in the background. Have we seen marketing on this scale for a TV show ever?
Just so you know, it's White Walkers.
It
said night in the prompter.
Okay,
I just wanted to be sure because people get very upset about this.
Okay, so it wasn't my fault. It wasn't the teleprompter.
White Walkers.
White Walkers.
People will get hate mail.
Oh, absolutely. Who are the Night Walkers?
Yeah.
What is that about?
It's a spoiler.
And then because I haven't seen it, people would have said, oh, she hasn't seen it.
But you haven't.
I know.
Good one.
So they'd be accurate.
So they'd be right. I honestly think the money on this level has never been. In Game of Thrones, HBO's thrown so much money. That last episode with the dragon cost more than almost any other show ever on Netflix. And then these things with Bellagio, the marketing budget has got to be out of control.
How cool for that Johnny Walker, right?
No. The whole thing is cool. I've never seen a phenomenon like sci-fi. I guess Harry Potter is similar.
No, Harry Potter wasn't in Vegas.
They have a Harry Potter land.
Is it in Vegas?
No, but
it's
in Los Angeles, and it's an entire land.
Okay, that's in another state.
It's an entire land.
So it's Vegas.
She just said, well, I don't
It's an entire land.
I don't think Harry Potter is as big as Game of Thrones.
Are you?
Whoa,
yeah, it is.
really?
Yes, it is.
I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
When was the last time you heard about somebody talking about Harry Potter?
I hear about it all the time.
Well, when?
Actually, I hear about it all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
All the coffee shops you hang out?
Yeah, I do.
You hanging out at Toys R Us?
How come
there is no more Toys R Us.
How come we haven't done a Harry Potter?
All right.
Thank you for trying to get my back, Jeff.
I was trying to get it there, Al.
We'll be right back.
You guys were attacking us?
DBL Nation, it's Lex. I'm here with the DBL Digital team giving you guys more top trending stories during the breaks here.
If you want to know some facts, then you need to know for Lex on a desk.
People care about Harry Potter, okay? People care. That was a very bold statement.
I know.
It is a bold statement. Very
I don't know
bold statement.
what he's talking about. Go ahead.
So we're talking about Equal Pay Day. That's it. That's all we're talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought she had more. I didn't know that I thought I had more follow-up.
Did you know when female business owners and entrepreneurs go in for a loan, they're likely to get 31% less?
Do you know that my best friends named their, I won't say the name of the child, but it is a male name for a girl specifically because on a resume or a grant or a loan, you will get more reception to the letter if it's from a male's name.
We used to say that.
Isn't that crazy?
This might be like racy, but we used to say that in college. If you had like an interesting name or a very obscure name, they might think that you are a minority and you would have a likelier chance of getting into, possibly you would have a likelier chance to get into a school.
It's very interesting the way people play with the names and all that, and what gets across the table and what doesn't. But a lot of people are playing unisex names or picking unisex names just for that reason, that in an interview, if you're calling in someone and you don't know if it's a woman or a man, you're sort of at a better playing field than if you're, oh, hey, Sarah, you know what I mean? Not that Sarahs aren't great. I love Sarahs. Sarahs are great. But yeah, I've been lucky. I'm a Victoria, but Tori can go either way.
Yeah.
Lex too.
Alexi goes either way.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Alexi.
DBL Nation, write us in and let us know if you guys have any stories that you're sharing on Equal Pay Day. Bye.
Welcome back to DBL. My wife Jordan and I have 2 toddlers at home, and after a long, cold winter, we needed some inspiration for some new screen-free activities, so we headed to the Denver's Museum of Nature and Science to get the ideas from one of the greatest minds of all time, Leonardo da Vinci. Check this out. You see the writing?
Yeah.
So he was left-handed, so you're left-handed too?
Yeah.
So instead of, you ever like write and then smear your
all
ink?
the time in school. I'd have it like all down my arm.
So he
He made this up, so he wrote backwards so it wouldn't touch, the ink wouldn't touch your hand. So that's why everything's written backwards. So like to read it, you have to like hold it up to a mirror.
That's so crazy.
Is that crazy?
You know how long that would take me?
You want to try to write something?
Yeah.
Put Jeff's the best.
Okay.
No, you have to start over here. See,
yeah, that's right.
Just start with Jeff. What? That's forward.
Oh, that's forward. Oh my God. Why am I doing it forward?
That was harder than I thought it was going to be. We did it.
We're idiots.
We're like Da Vinci. Can't even tell us apart. So like this is supported by this one. You get it?
Right.
All right. You want to try to build our own bridge?
Yeah, but Jeff's mainly going to be building this bridge. I'm glad I didn't live in these times because I would have failed at everything.
You'd be dead.
I would have been dead. I would have never survived.
Let's work together.
That's never a good thing.
Oh wait, there's like certain.
No. Hang on. That one. Look, that one's pointed down, and this is so it's like this.
Right.
And then, oh my God.
There, we can still get in like that, right? Just go. There you go.
There we go. It's built.
Storm the fortress. So you look in the mirror and draw yourself?
All right.
All right. Don't make me laugh.
Oh man, mine's terrible. I am no Da Vinci.
I'm pretty close. Are you close?
No, we'll just draw shoulders so I can be done.
What is that?
I'm drawing my hair.
All right, I count 3. Show me yours. I already took a peek at yours. 1, 2, 3.
Yours isn't bad.
Dude, yours looks scary. Is that scary?
We'll be right back.
All right, so you guys are still chiming in on the fifth host. A lot of comments on her, so let's just roll through some of them. Janie Bird says, no, this is not the place. That means the classroom. The public want the teachers to do more and more, but don't respect or support them. It's true. That's a good point, Janie. Didi Maratea, watching in Tampa, says, of course. Too many people, including commenters here, are under the false impression that it is a choice. It is not a choice. Our genes dictate this. Barbara Go in Tampa says, sex education is about learning how to be safe while making the choice to engage in sex, making the right choices. Don't matter who our partner is, no one needs to know what you're doing with it. You know, that's actually a very fair point, Barbara, that's the purpose of sex education, is to educate you on reproduction and the safety or lack of safety of it. And I think, again, the point of what these guys were trying to do was push for abstinence, so that, which is difficult because a lot of people do not abstain, but I think the point was to try to reduce teen pregnancy and STDs and things of that sort. So let's continue. Cindy Hoekstra says schools have no business discussing this. It is for the family. Cindy, great point. Big discussion going on right now whether we want to legislate morality in schools or legislate different things. And I would say that, you know, the schools are a place for you to learn. There are certain societal constructs and societal concepts that a lot of people would agree should not be taught in schools. Those are things that you learn on your own. One point that I'd like to bring up too is there is a Pride Center that's about 20 minutes from this school, and that's where one of the transgender students had gone to learn more about it. And I think that's great that there are community centers where a person can go and learn about the things that they're not learning about at school. Because look, I mean, I learned a lot of things outside of school that had nothing to do with what I was just educated on in school. Russell, I'm going to see if I can pronounce this right, Detchert, says yes, meaning yes, teach LGBT issues in schools. I have kids. If you're going to talk about sex and everything, and this includes, it's 2019 and a part of life today. Years ago, people hated the thought. However, express it all or nothing. Parents, stop hiding behind your disbeliefs. Same day your child may be gay, lesbian, transgender. Who cares? Do you love your kids? Well, on the flip side of that, Russell, is that if you do love your kids, you believe you should be the ones educating them about some of these issues and not the school. So again, that's where the split really is. Casey Bush in Houston says, no, let them figure it out by themselves. This is the left trying to push homosexuality on your children. You know, the way I see it is, and this is more true for this generation than mine, which is, look what I'm holding, an iPad. People can find out whatever you want to know from the internet, and to think that if we're naive enough to think that they're not learning about certain issues online, we're deluding ourselves, because that's where people are discussing it, that's where they're going into forums, into chat rooms, talking with other people, which is actually good, because if you think about certain gender identities that may not have a lot of support at school and they find themselves alienated, sometimes an internet forum could be the right forum for them to find that support, whether it's in person, physically, or this, because pretty much everyone has one of these or a phone these days. Elisa Lisa Watson says, sure, it should all be taught. Then it won't be some kind of thing to feel it isn't right. Kids will recognize certain things about themselves and not feel like they're weird. Again, Lisa, I don't think this was an exclusionist policy. It was something they were trying to be inclusive of, just promoting abstinence regardless of your identity. So thanks for these comments. I really like reading them because you guys have very interesting things to say.
Welcome back to DBL. Remember when I talked about getting a package delivered to my house, but it wasn't mine? In case you missed it, here's what went down. I noticed a box from Zappos on my porch, then notified the shipping company and told them that the box had the correct address but the wrong name. At one point, a UPS worker even tucked the package away in a different spot on my porch. I also put a sign on the box saying it didn't belong to us. Well, after like a month of not being able to get rid of the dang box, eventually I called Zappos and they told me, keep the package. Do you guys want to see what's in it?
Yes.
Are you excited?
That's a smaller package than I thought.
I know, me too. It looks cute. Shoes.
Oh!
Size 1, though. I'm like a 9.
Yes.
But I feel like Ford, your son would fit into
Baby
them.
Ford could get the yes. I'll send you pictures of him wearing.
He's not a baby,
shoes.
though. He's 4 years old.
Right, but he's going to be baby Ford forever.
I know, but so he should fit into them.
Yes, thank you, Sammy. I
Well, you're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thanks, Zappos. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Someone wrote in that J.K. Rowling didn't use her full name because she didn't know how boys would react to a story written by a woman. I noticed that.
Look at her now.
J.K. I think it's Joanna.
Something like that.
And you also know that she writes under a
pseudonym.
Okay, that's the word.
Pseudonym.
Robert Galbraith. Robert for Robert Kennedy and Galbraith for Kenneth Galbraith. And again, another male. She uses a male's name.
I have to say, Al promised me like a year ago now that come winter he'd watch all the Harry Potter movies. Winter is over.
I'm a simple man.
It's too goofy.
It's not.
Anytime I see somebody on a broom handle, I'm out of here.
My husband's the same way. He thinks all of the fantasy stuff is really weird.
To be honest with you, that land is super awesome.
Oh, I want to go so bad.
So you can get a butter beer.
Have you been? Because I really want to go.
I want to get a butter beer real bad.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's really expensive. But for a child to see it all, it can be
my nieces like read the books and everything.
Yeah,
they love it, so they like freaked out.
They freaked out. Oh, that's so fun.
And it was nice to be there, and the ride was super
cool. They feel like they're there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. 54 down real quick. 4 letters. King of the road, blank O B blank.
Let me see it.
We think it might be hobo, but I don't know if I like it.
Does the H fit in the other?
Kind of.
Tell them how you can get to your answers, too.
Oh, well, he's already.
Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, April 2nd. We're live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. And right now, I'm here with Erica, Tori, and Al. I'm Jeff. A lot to get to, guys. Let's do it. There is a manhunt underway right now for the suspect police say murdered 33-year-old rapper Nipsey Hussle outside his clothing store in Los Angeles on Sunday. This is 29-year-old Eric Holder, who police identified late yesterday as the suspect. They are desperately trying to find him before a reported hit is carried out. Meantime, at least 19 people were injured at a vigil for Nipsey Hussle last night, and 4 are hospitalized after a stampede. Police aren't sure what caused the panic, but initial reports of gunshots at the vigil apparently were not true, according to the police chief. So, I mean, there's a lot of people talking about this right now. I just hope, I mean, for everyone's sake, that is the suspect, and they don't just post his picture all over. We're talking about it because his life is in danger, but
well, they're looking for him because they must.
Exactly. They wouldn't release that photo if they didn't have all the facts straight.
Yeah, and I think what they're saying so far in the vigil, there was some glass breaking, and I think people thought immediately that they had heard gunshots, and I think we all can understand we're really, shootings have become prevalent, and I think there was a high level of panic, but when you trample, it can be very, very dangerous. So luckily, though, this wasn't a violent thing. This was just a trample, unfortunately.
Right.
But
And
I'm glad there weren't
It actually made me think about you, Erica. You remember you said you were at a movie or a play about a year ago, and, and there was a fake gunshot, and you spilled your wine all over you because we are all just hypersensitive to being in a crowd and hearing something that sounds like gunshots. Unfortunately, you have to react. We're in a different day and age.
Yeah, I mean, it was relatively peaceful, all things considered, and that happened. Yes. All right, guys, Deborah Norville is asking for prayers right now. The host of Inside Edition revealed yesterday that she is undergoing surgery to remove a cancerous tumor from her neck. Here's what she said about it.
The doctor says it's a very localized form of cancer, which tomorrow I'll have surgery to have removed. There'll be no chemo, I'm told no radiation, but I will have surgery and I'll be away for a bit. So Diane will be holding down the fort. If you believe in prayer, please say one for me and for my surgeon, and I thank you very much.
And good news, Deborah's assistant just tweeted out this picture of her official Twitter account, writing that she is out of surgery and everything went great. But get this, Deborah has a TV viewer to thank for all of this. An eagle-eyed viewer spotted the lump on her neck and wrote into the show about it. And that's when Deborah got it checked out and has been monitoring it ever since. Wow.
That is amazing.
That
and
is
it's not the first time that's happened. Tarek El Moussa from Flip or Flop also had a viewer write in and bring attention to a node on his neck, and it ended up being something that he had to have taken out, and it was surgery and everything, and it probably saved his life.
It's amazing. Pierce Morgan had a mole on his chest that a viewer wrote in. He went and looked, it was precancerous. So it's great when you have these ongoing viewers because they see you every day, and if there's a little change, they're there. So DBL Nation, we don't take that for granted.
You want something changed?
No, someone wrote in, my head looked too big. I was like, that's not what we're asking for.
I think your head is the appropriate size for your body.
I thought so too.
Tori's head is fine.
Thank you.
There you go. I'll clear that up.
The village has spoken.
Court adjourned.
We're tracking the winners and losers from yesterday's April Fool's Day pranks, and Dr. Phil might have won when he tweeted out this picture, making everyone think he shaved off his famous mustache. But to all those who were gullible enough to believe him, watch this.
April Fools, you didn't really think I would do it, right? I'd look like an aardvark if I took this off.
But we're not so sure. Check out this side-by-side. He doesn't look like an aardvark. But some are saying he looks more like Danny DeVito's penguin. Wow, that's
all
harsh.
the way fired.
That's
That's the harshest compliment you could ever give.
That wasn't me. That was in the prompter. But yesterday's pranks have a lot of people angry with Justin Bieber, my boy. The singer started the day off by posting this sonogram photo with the caption, "Congratulations, the legacy continues." Bieber then posted this picture of his wife Haley at what appears to be a doctor's appointment, writing, "If you thought it was April Fool's, think again," which led a bunch of fans to think he was being serious this time. But finally, Bieber posted this sonogram with the puppy revealing his joke, and a lot of people were not laughing. One person tweeted, "Honestly, not a funny joke when millions of women are struggling with infertility and other issues of this sort. Sad." And another tweeted that she unfollowed the Biebs for his joke, saying it was not funny, and the Biebs has just apologized, posting this to Instagram, saying he is sorry to people who were offended. Did you think he needed to issue an apology?
I certainly don't. Look, as somebody that writes jokes for a living, I mean, somebody's always the butt of the joke. And a lot of times it's the comic telling it. There are comics that have made their living that are heavier set to come out and kind of poke fun at themselves. That's comedy it's about pushing the boundaries. And then once you find out what's too far, maybe you bring it in a little bit. But he said he made this joke on a day that we set aside as a society to make jokes. I understand this is something people struggle with, but if he had done this and he was at a buffet saying, "I'm going to eat all of this, I'm going off my diet," someone might be like, well, Americans struggle with their weight. We're the most obese. Everything can be picked apart, but I just thought, can we just have one day to just be goofy?
Actually, I agree with Al, and I'm 38 years old, and I'm married, and I don't have children. I totally empathize with people who are suffering from infertility issues or just really frustrated about it. But not everything is about you, and I'm not looking for a 25-year-old pop star to be the voice of what is palatable or not when it comes to infertility issues. I mean, to be really honest about it, and I think that we do have a habit of making every single thing about us or apply to us somehow, and it makes other people not want to talk to you.
Erica, let me ask you this real quick. Do you think this would be, we get the same reaction if like Gary Busey tweeted this?
I think, well, I don't know. I really don't know. But I do think that if it were someone who was more aware or more involved, even a little older maybe, I would get maybe a little bit more heightened, but I'm not heightened by Justin Bieber doing a fake pregnancy announcement.
Yeah, I think he would, yes. To answer your question, I think he would, but I didn't see anything wrong with it, but then again, I didn't have any problem with fertility, so am I being insensitive?
No, I don't think he has to apologize, and I'm not offended by it. I'm just going to take the opposite side of your point of view here, is that, was it smart to do? And probably not, because there are things that are particularly not to joke about, and in some ways, 1 in 8 women have problems or have lost a child, and it's just, if you're going to joke about something and you're a huge platform and you have a lot of female followers, is it smart to joke about something that could be tender and triggering to a lot of people? Now, trust me, I'm already getting comments saying, Tori, you're so PC, you're so PC. I get that. And it is a day for jokes, and I'm a comic, for God's sake, so I get it. But was it smart? You want to read the room. He has a huge following. You got to be responsible for that. Could he have done another joke that didn't have to be so bruising to some people?
He's also 25 years old, and I didn't really know what entailed all this. I was in my late 30s or late 30s.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
and Erica, you even said it, but just like 25.
Yeah.
For a 25-year-old Al to have a platform that could reach half of the country would have been a real bad thing.
Well, and to be honest, like Bieber just recently became not for everyone. So, I mean, let's just be honest about that. I don't expect him to be on that radar or be catering to that demographic at all.
Bite your tongue. He's for everybody.
I didn't mean it like that. Let's keep going.
Right now, the New York Police Department confirms it is investigating allegations against magician David Blaine. Let's get over to Kelly Schubert with the details.
Yeah, right now, David Blaine is responding to sexual assault allegations that are reportedly being investigated by the NYPD. 2 women accuse the magician of sexual assault, and the New York Post reports one of the women says he hypnotized her into compliance. Both accusers say they were attacked by Blaine more than 20 years ago, so the allegations are outside of the statute of limitations, making it unclear how the NYPD will proceed. And Jeff, I just heard from David Blaine's rep, who says he denies the accusations that have been reported and takes these allegations seriously, and that he will cooperate with any investigation. I'll keep you updated.
Thank you so much, Kelly. All right, guys, there is a big controversy over a new clothing line possibly coming to stores near you. Brandon for the notorious drug kingpin El Chapo. If you recall, El Chapo Guzman was found guilty in February of drug trafficking, money laundering, and firearm possession, and now he signed over the rights to use his name for a clothing line. And the woman behind it all is reportedly his wife, a 29-year-old former beauty queen. Here she is walking into his trial in New York, where the company is actually. It's also registered, but this got us talking. Would you buy El Chapo branded clothing, especially if it means his family could profit from all this?
This is such an interesting question. Now, there's this law called Son of Sam, in which you actually, because of Son of Sam, you're not supposed to be able to profit from your own crime. You don't want to write about it, things like that. But after the guy from Goodfellas kind of went all the way to the Supreme Court and said, I want to write about it because I have First Amendment rights, they said it is okay. So I think it's crazy. I think it's blood money. I think it's a terrible idea. I don't want to give this family any more money. But do I think there's a market for it? Yeah, I think it's a huge market for people wearing El Chapo clothing. Sadly, I do.
That's sad.
But I do think there's a market.
Let me ask you guys this real quick. Do you think that somebody is equally as guilty of this as like let's say sometimes you go to somebody's house and they'll have a cigar and they'll have a picture of Al Pacino and it says Scarface or like Escobar, Pablo Escobar, something like that, like glorifying a drug dealer.
But here, I think,
is that the same thing?
Scarface is different than Pablo Escobar or El Chapo in the fact that he's a fictional person.
And I realized that as it was coming out of my mouth. Great example, Al.
I understand that's what Scarface was kind of based off of. Right. But having the actual person of a murderer, kind of like you mentioned earlier, John Wayne Gacy's photos or something like that, of the paintings of the clowns.
Or like Marilyn Manson or something, you would never wear like a hat.
Well, Marilyn Manson is a singer.
Charles Manson.
Marilyn Manson's free to sell.
He could sell his merchandise.
I apologize.
It's called Hot Topic.
I'm so sorry.
All right, we're going to end on that note, I guess. Apologies to Marilyn Manson. DBL's Live will bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. And coming up, the iconic Brady Bunch TV house is getting an all-star renovation. HGTV star Mina stars Zia Hawk. There we go. Takes us behind the scenes with the surprising dish on the Brady actors. Whoever wrote that knew I wasn't going to nail that, so I might just take it out of there. Also, Barbara Bush was a beloved first lady, but a new book is stirring controversy over claims she had a bitter feud with another political wife. And you, the viewer, are the fifth host. A small town is fighting over what to include in its new sex ed curriculum, not wanting to include the LGBTQ community. DBL Nation, you're fired up, and we share your comments next.
Hi, DBL Nation. You might have heard some cheers. We always get excited when Jeff makes it through that long tease. Let's go to the desk and see what's going on over here.
I was like, in my head, I made a decision.
What was your decision? You nailed it.
No, I didn't.
It felt right.
Way to rub that in.
It was 4 syllables.
Dude, I had to have trouble with it. Mina Starziak Hawk. It's a hard. It's a hard.
Hyphenated last name?
It is, and it doesn't roll off the tongue.
So I was going to say Mina or Mina.
Why don't you take Hawk? That's the best.
Mina Hawk is
So I was
awesome.
just going to say Mina. And in my mind, I'm like, should I go for it? Should I go for it? Go for it. That's how fast my mind is like. I'm thinking about other stuff while I'm reading.
But then sometimes I feel like this is the little Jeff in your head is like, do it, do it, do it. And then sometimes you're angry at that Jeff.
You're
and
right.
then you're missing you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
You're in a conversation in here.
And then I'm like, you idiot. When I'm in it, I'm like, you idiot. I told you don't do that.
Yeah, then you're yelling at yourself. It's crazy town in there, people.
It is crazy.
I know.
I don't know why.
El Chapo clothes will only fit kids. It says vote to count because he's, I think, a joke.
I'm not making any.
Yeah, I don't want to make a joke. Sorry, El Chapo.
That dude is
Yeah.
Do you want to go back to the Marilyn Manson?
Oh my God, I apologize. You know what a great moment at Marilyn Manson did? Do you remember Cribs?
Yes.
He opened his door.
He's supposed to be this really nice guy.
And very smart. He
Yeah.
opens the door and goes, welcome, I'm Marilyn Manson. Welcome to my Marilyn mansion. And I was like, that was clever.
He was good on Bowling for Columbine. I thought he was really great.
He's very educated, yeah. He's sort of an activist in a way. Lavender Ninja goes, I actually agree with Tori. You don't have to add the actually agree with Tori.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You wouldn't joke about breaking up with your significant other. Why would you joke about something as intimate and potentially shocking as a pregnancy? Although a lot of you wrote and said, Tori, you're being way too sensitive. So I'm trying to hear both sides of this.
I wonder how Jeff and Jordan's fans would react if they announced that they were splitting up. I know Jeff doesn't even joke around like that, but I wonder, it wouldn't be...
I don't think it'd be funny.
Yeah, it would just... Yeah, I guess maybe that's the rule is like
suicide. That's not funny.
Yeah.
I know. So anyway, let us know how your Final Four is doing.
I'm crushing it.
I'm out because of Michigan. Are you out?
I don't think anyone else has
your
a
bracket?
chance.
I'm all the way out, but I helped
you
somebody
in
do their
still?
bracket.
I think I might have won.
You might have won. We are.
How are you beating me? Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Sex education is a casual but huge battle in the small town of Michigan. A transgender child is a resident and her supporters asked the school district to update the sex ed curriculum to include mentions of LGBTQ people, but other parents pushed back hard. They didn't want any mention of transgender students and say sex ed should focus on abstinence only. So DBL Nation, what do you think? Should sex ed be mentioned in schools?
Well, let's get to your comments. Stephanie Joe from Facebook says, yes, while they're at it, they can teach some compassion and tolerance for lifestyles other than the one that they lead. Stephanie, I agree with you. I do think a big part of that tolerance comes from representation, not acting like people don't exist. I remember a very pivotal time in my life where I was having a conversation about LGBTQ and Pride Parade, and someone who wasn't on board got on board, and literally the next day his son came out to him. So and thanked his father for being so inclusive and accepting. So I think that a lot of times when you step outside of your box and your comfort zone, you realize that there might be people close to you who are the people who you're actually exiling.
Interesting. Nancy from Facebook says, no, stop requiring schools to do all this nonsense. No one is saying they should discriminate, but having to include this kind of thing in a curriculum is absurd. What's next? I respectfully disagree, Nancy. I think this is exactly the right time and the right place. I think that in school people are learning. It's called sex education. If you want to educate correctly, then I think the umbrella is all about gender identity, and a lot of your students are going through it at this very moment. If you don't talk about it, you're just sharing ignorance, and that only leads to violence because people are scared of what they don't know.
Well said, Tori. Girl Chrissy from YouTube says, most definitely. This should be a topic in any and all sex ed classes.
You were sex ed.
Yes, I was. Tori, I taught middle school science, and teaching sex ed was part of that curriculum, so I did it for 5 years. And I think a lot of times we hear parents say, well, people should talk about this at home. You don't know everybody's home. Some people don't have a parent or parents to talk to them about this. So a lot of times that responsibility, and I took it very seriously, was on me, because I figured if this kid didn't go on to college, I was going to be really their only line of defense before they went out into the real world. So yes, they do need to learn about everybody that's in this world, even people that some people are uncomfortable knowing exist. But trust me, they do when they're thriving.
Yeah, and I think those are the people who are uncomfortable about it are the exact people who need to take this class.
I completely agree with that.
Well said, sir.
All right, guys, coming up on DBL, the Brady Bunch actors are back on their old block, teaming up with HGTV for a massive renovation. We'll talk to one of the HGTV stars and find out, can she pass our Brady Bunch quiz? Also, another pup needs a new home. Our pint-sized puppy wrangler introduces us in today's Roman rescues. Skibbity bop boop boop. We'll be right back.
DBL Nation, Mike here.
Fedorable Mike.
Yes, I am. Bringing you the latest trending stories, and today I'm asking the question, to vaccinate your child or to not vaccinate your child? Now, just last week we covered a story that a county in New York banned children not vaccinated under the age of 18 from going to public places, and now we have some statistics about measles so far this year. So far this year, there have been the second highest cases of measles in the U.S. since 2000, and if you remember, in 2000, we declared measles eliminated. So far this year, through March 28th, there have been 387 cases.
Wow.
Now, the year that had the most cases was 2014, and for that entire year, there was 667.
Wow.
So we're already more than halfway through.
Yeah, this is a real issue.
Yeah, so it's an issue.
Yeah, so a lot of you write in, a lot of you, and I want to respect if you're anti-vax. I just think it's for the health of the state, and if you're immune suppressed or you have a kid that's sick, having an unvaccinated kid is like in some ways having you can weaponize that. That can be a weapon to some children. So we know of 4 children who've beaten cancer but were immune suppressed that died because of small other diseases that they could have been vaccinated against. I'm very pro-vax. I am unapologetically pro-vax, and I think it should be banned.
Yeah, and I'm pro-vax as well, and we've even seen cases of children when they turn 18 getting their vaccinations.
That's right, that's right.
So let us know what you think. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to DBL. Spring is here, and HGTV star Mina Starziak Hawk's biggest tip this season is to head to Lowe's for your DIY home projects. I also chatted with her about one of HGTV's biggest renovations yet. All 6 Brady siblings reunited, along with the Good Bones host and her HGTV co-stars, for a retro renovation of the iconic Brady Bunch house in today's DBL Spotlight. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. Mina, thank you so much for joining us. You've got a chance to team up with your fellow HGTV stars and all 6 Brady kids to renovate the real Brady Bunch home. So did it feel like a family reunion, kind of?
It did. Honestly, I think all of us, all the HGTV people and the Brady cast, we all just kind of hugged, and then it's like we'd known each other forever.
I wish I'd been there. Now, HGTV outbid both Maureen McCormick, this is AKA Marsha Brady, and singer Lance Bass to purchase the home. Lance actually helped with the renovation, so I have to know, Mina, were they good sports?
Honestly, I did not know they outbid Maureen. I knew that they did Lance fast. Right. And I think originally there was some hard feelings there, but I think it's all kind of come full circle, and you know, they don't have a plan for what they're gonna do with the house, so maybe it'll end up in one of their hands eventually anyway.
That's a good point. There you go. Now, out of all the Brady kids, we need to know who has the most potential to join the HGTV family as a DIY home renovator.
I think as far as like energy, Maureen, she's down. She's like, what do you need me to do? Give me a sledgehammer. And she's this big, but she is all in. But a lot of the other cast have very strong skill sets. Architecture, one of them owns like a concrete company. So they've got a lot going for them. Like, I don't know how to use a CAD program, and Jan does.
Wow, Jan, way to go. Now, before you go, I got to give you a quiz on some Brady trivia just to see how well you got to know the real-life Brady Bunch kids.
Oh, gosh.
Which Brady kid ended up going out on a date with their TV mom, Florence Henderson?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna guess Bobby. That's what's coming to my head.
I like that you said that, but it's actually Greg Brady, Barry Williams. Okay. So you're 0 for 0. I like it. Now, which Brady kid competed in Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, it's he's got the curly hair and he's always kind of nice and tan.
She's always Marsha, Maureen McCormick. Marsha Brady.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was one of the brothers.
I did too, actually. Now, which Brady kid was the only sibling to decline being part of the Brady Bunch Hour variety show?
I think it was Jan.
Yes, girl! Jan Brady.
Okay, I got one.
I'm very proud of you.
I'll take it.
Well, thank you so much, Mina. We look forward to the big Brady Bunch home reveal on HGTV.
Thank you.
We will be right back.
All right.
Hello,
whether
everyone.
You want it or not.
Yeah, that's so true.
Tori.
BH Brady wrote us in and said something smart. And now, oh, here it is. Isn't Justin Bieber's target audience young girls, though? Is that really going to offend people?
I thought about that. I just don't know. I kind of like look at Erica. I really felt what you were saying in that, like, do you honestly care? It's different if, like, the Surgeon General tweeted that out.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah, you're saying that, yeah, why? Yeah.
Would it be any different than if, who's it? Post Malone tweeted that? The rapper.
No, it's like, okay, you expect certain things from certain people. You know, like there's just it's an expectation of behavior or content. I'm not checking for Justin Bieber when it comes to anything about family planning, infertility,
or humor,
humor, or what I'm doing in my bedroom in my life. I really do think we have a really bad habit of. I think that's where the subtweet generation came in, because people are so bad at interpersonal communications that they take to social media in order to get their point across, but they are never really specific with who they're talking to. So everyone thinks it's about them. And I just naturally assume it's not about me unless I think about you like that. And then I'm sometimes surprised that it is about me, but then I don't care.
I don't think she cares, guys, because I don't think she cares.
But I'm pretty sure that Justin Bieber was not making an April Fool's post about me, so I don't care.
No, we need to double check this, because I think Cobb was on board with this. I think it was about you. No, I understand what you guys are saying. I do think there's certain things that you don't want. That is it smart enough not to joke about? Probably. He didn't. Are you going to get a lot of comments? Yes. If you want to avoid that, don't do that. But you know what? I'm not offended. I just think it's a sore subject for people.
It is. But also, I think the people that are around him, if you had some people around you that maybe like had the courage to be like, hey, maybe we don't.
Yeah, because on my feed, it was like, pregnancy is not an April Fool's joke, like over and over and over again.
But your feed is different than Justin Bieber's fans' feed.
But it would have been different if Jessica Simpson, who just had a baby, was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant again. Like a woman who's had children and going on being like, oh my gosh, I had, that's her demographic. Like women my age are Jessica Simpson's demographic.
Yeah, you're saying that's more the room reading.
Then I could see people being like, wow, that was kind of insensitive that you have 3 healthy children and a lot of your fans. But the idea that like a woman my age at 38 is following Justin Bieber like that.
Wait a minute. How old is Jeff?
I follow Biebs, I'm 40.
And what did you write to him when he was feeling
Still,
bad?
the idea.
Crush Life Biebs.
As I said before, it's ridiculous.
The idea is not a practical one.
Also, the joke, come up with something more original.
It's just a bad.
Welcome back to DBL. It's that time of the week where our favorite puppy pitchman, Roman, shows us a new dog up for adoption. Pay attention this time because this next dog may steal your heart. Meet Ruben in today's Roman's Rescues.
Hi everyone, I'm here at the Augusta Animal Services with my friend Ruben here. And he's a year and a half and heartworm negative. He's a little energetic, well, a lot of energetic, and really sweet. Ruben is a pit bull mix.
He would do good with maybe somebody who was like a runner.
A runner would be great for
burn
Ruben.
off all that energy.
Yeah, maybe 5 blocks a day.
He's like, I want to play.
Please adopt him.
What do you say?
Thank you. Bye.
So if you are a high energy family, when I mean that, you're a runner, you like to go outside and play with the kidlets, and you're someone that takes hikes, these kind of dogs are great because they have that high energy and they want to work for you.
And also have the space to do it as well.
Exactly. So think about that. If you want high energy, Ruben's a great dog for you.
And it's a good sandwich.
It is such a good sandwich.
It's an underrated
On a
sandwich.
Kaiser roll, it's my favorite.
Sauerkraut?
It's delicious.
Delicious.
All right, guys, if you're leaving us right now, you can still watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up next.
Happy Equal Pay Day! We'll tell you how your favorite celebs like Oprah and Meryl Streep are fighting for pay equality. Plus, First Lady feud. You won't believe the nasty nickname Nancy Reagan had for the Bushes. And it's Game of Thrones mania as America goes wild for the final season. Did star Maisie Williams just drop a major spoiler? Find out when we come back.
Dumbo gonna be a big flop? Apple TV enters the streaming TV world while rumors are swirling about YouTube Premium. And Borderlands 3 is on the way. That's all next in the Jump Off. I'm Abby and welcome to the Jump Off. I'm here to bring you all the latest news in gaming, tech, and nerd culture, so let's get started right now. Tim Burton's Dumbo remake is getting mixed reviews. IGN calls it mediocre and says the remake fails to reach the lofty heights of its animated predecessor. But the Washington Post gives it 3.5 out of 4 stars, calling it decidedly and deliciously dark. The Guardian gave the movie 1 star. Just one little star, that's it. I think that's pretty harsh. We have our own review up on the Daily Blast Live YouTube channel, so go check that out and let us know what you think of the movie. Have you guys heard about Apple's new streaming service? It's something from the future, but everyone already has one. Apple TV Plus will bring together streaming channels and service from other providers, but they'll also add their own original content. We're hearing there will be a sci-fi project starring Jason Momoa and a morning show with Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell, and Jennifer Aniston. It's set to come out in the fall. We have no idea how much Apple TV Plus is going to cost, so you better start saving now. And while Apple TV is bringing all this original content, could YouTube be getting rid of theirs? Bloomberg had reported YouTube could be canceling their comedies and dramas, but YouTube's head of original content says that's not true. YouTube's premier Karate Kid sequel show, Cobra Kai, just released a new trailer for the 2nd season.
Okinawan karate, true karate, by joining the Miyagi-Do team, because at Miyagi-Do, it's not about the money, it's about the karate.
The new season premieres on YouTube Premium April 24th. 2K Games has announced a new Borderlands game is in development. It's been 7 years since the last Borderlands game was released. And if you haven't heard of the game, it's a highly stylized first-person shooter. It lets you and your friends team up against monsters and the main villain, Handsome Jack, in a world full of attitude. There's no word yet on when Borderlands 3 will be released, but I'm gonna be playing every weekend. That's it for the Jump Off. As always, I'll be here every week with the latest in gaming, tech, and nerd culture news. We'll see you next time.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We're live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. Let's get to it, guys. Today is World Autism Day. Wait for it. It's many days today. People around the world are wearing blue to recognize people living on the autism spectrum. It's also National Reconciliation Day. It's time to patch up relationships and misunderstandings. It's also Equal Pay Day to bring awareness to pay discrepancies between men and women. It's on a Tuesday because it represents how far into the work week a woman works to earn as much as a man doing the same job. But since 1980, the gap has slowly been closing, which is a good thing. Women make 85 cents to every dollar a man makes. For workers ages 25 to 34, it's 89 cents. That's according to a Pew Research Center. And today, Time is featuring women who are the firsts in their industry, like Nancy Pelosi, who is the first woman to become Speaker of the House. Very nice. Aretha Franklin, who is the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah. Another good one. And of course, Oprah, who is the first woman to own and produce her own talk show.
Never heard of her.
No.
Yeah, she's on the bottom.
She's doing okay?
Let's listen to what she had to say. Maybe you'll recognize it.
I went to my boss at the time and I said, everybody needs a raise. And he said, why? He actually said to me, they're only girls. They're a bunch of girls. What do they need more money for?
And she threatened to say, if you don't, I'm going to sit down. And the one thing you don't want is Oprah Winfrey to sit out because she is the hottest tick in town. And she threatened and they gave raises. So good on her.
Of course, though.
Good on her for using that power correctly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's the difference between overt, which is what people were used to, and just speaking their mind to say something like that, and the idea that it's more covert now. I think it's also the sentiment behind it, the reason why just girls would need less. The thought was that men were to provide for their families. That's not how the world is constructed anymore. So in some cases, you have men who are not providing for any family and still making 85 or $1 to 85 cents for a woman who might be the sole breadwinner for her entire family. So when you're talking about the way that things have evolved, it's funny how some things evolve faster than the actual need to have the resources to sustain how far that's been evolved.
And that's true. And the Paycheck Fairness Act just passed in the House. I'm really hoping it passes in the Senate. If you're interested, check with your senators to see where they lay on this, where they lie. Even Ivanka Trump is for parity. And if we can agree on that, then I think it's a bipartisan issue, that it's a fairness thing. It's not a women should get more thing. It's a fairness thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm there with you. Yeah. And if you can't get on board with that, it's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day.
Oh, my God.
Why didn't we get a sandwich?
I don't know.
We should all have
Is it weird I don't like PB&J? I don't like jelly.
You never had a PB&J?
No.
What about jam?
No.
Preserves?
No. They're all in the same disgusting family picture.
Have you ever had an ostrich burger?
Yes. Didn't we have one at the place?
All right. We're getting out of here. Speaking of women power, a historic election is taking place in Chicago today. Let's get over to Raquel Villanueva.
That's right, Jeff. For the first time ever, Chicago's mayor will be a black woman. This race is down to 2 women for the runoff election. It's between former federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot and Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. Both see themselves as progressive candidates. If Lightfoot wins, she'll be the city's first openly gay mayor. And right now, polls show she's favored to win.
There you go.
This will be the largest city ever to elect an African-American woman as its mayor.
I mean, Erica, Chicago, and
yeah.
black woman.
Yeah,
all the things.
All those things.
All the things. Talk to us. How you feeling?
No, it just makes me remember that it was within my lifetime that the first black mayor of Chicago, we attended his funeral, Harold Washington.
Oh, yeah.
That was within my lifetime. So the idea that there's a female coming up in the same realm, like that's just...
You're seeing history during your lifetime.
Right.
Yeah. And a possibly openly gay, like Miss Lightfoot is gay, openly gay. So it'd be just, I have to say, the movement forward is rapidly progressing. You either get bored or you're going to get wiped out.
Absolutely. And it's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day.
It's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day.
I'm going to use that joke about 3 more times.
All right. Great.
Former First Lady Barbara Bush is dishing the deets on some White House drama. That's right. It's all in the book detailed in her new life called The Matriarch by Susan Page. It's out today. Get your paws on it. And the book, Barbara talks about her feud with former First Lady Nancy Reagan. The two spent time together when Ronald Reagan was president and George H.W. Bush Bush was VP. According to the book, Nancy called the Bushes the Shrubs.
That is such a grandma joke.
Also, she didn't invite them to a dinner with Princess Diana or to the family's quarters in the White House, and never invited them to Camp David. Ouch. Apparently, Barbara had enough and hung up on Nancy when she called to make peace after Bush was elected. That's all according to the new book. It's National Reconciliation Day. She should have took that phone call.
Yeah, I think. Look, way to work that in. First of all, Jeff.
Right.
And then offered her a PB&J.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I think this is like an example of like your mean grandma and your nice grandma. I think Nancy Reagan was the mean grandma. And I think that we're all seeing that. Barbara Bush is like the grandma's like, look, your mom's not here. You can get some candy. You stay up late. And Nancy's like, man.
But how do you know Nancy can't respond to this book?
Neither can
Barbara Bush. She's passed away too.
But
y'all
the book's
talking about
already
reconciling?
No, but the book's already written, is what I'm saying.
Well,
so
Nancy Reagan can hire a ghost ghostwriter.
Oh,
Come
Lord
back.
have mercy. Oh, Lord
That was better than it got. Thank you.
It was okay.
Thought of that on the spot.
I think presidential historians have always mentioned that First Lady Nancy Reagan was known to be somewhat icier than Barbara Bush, and they didn't always. And First Ladies don't always have the best of times. Remember, that's your house for 8 years, and someone's just coming in and redoing it and changing your style.
I mean, they don't get invited to Camp David just because they redid the house.
No, I'm saying you can have an uncomfortable. It's not always an easy transition.
It seems like Barbara was trying to be cool, and it seems like Nancy was chopping off her olive branch. She's chopping it off.
Just chopping that off.
She extended it, chop.
But it's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. So.
Cut the crust off. That's right. All right. Actor Taron Egerton is featured on the cover of May's issue of GQ leading up to his big movie Rocket Man. He plays Elton John in the film. It's set to hit theaters May 31st. Let's take
my mom's birthday.
Sneak peek. Now, Taron is giving us some insider details on the film and how he met Elton John preparing for the role. Let's take a look.
He is obviously someone who feels a bit like royalty, and he's one of those people who is kind of such an icon that he feels more like, until you meet him, you kind of forget that he's a real sort of person. He's sort of more of an idea than he is a kind of a walking, talking human being.
But some people are criticizing Taron's casting in the film because he is straight playing Elton, who is openly gay. Taron tells GQ, quote, the LGBTQ community has always been about inclusiveness, hasn't it? Not about where we're here. You're there. In fact, if you want to come in, come on in. So DBL Nation, this has us wondering, should the LGBTQ actor have been cast instead of Elton John, as Elton John? Head to dblvote.com and weigh in. Is this day almost over? I hope so.
You did great.
You did great.
It's great, but I mean, there's a lot of words in there.
There's a lot.
This guy's playing an actor who's not LGBTQ. What do you guys think about that?
Let's help Jeff out here.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, word on the street is that Elton John actually wanted him to play this role.
That's a big note to know.
That's a big thing. That's just word on the street. But I also think that what it really comes down to is typecasting, and it's the idea that someone's being placed in a box. When you have a Rami Malek play a very openly gay icon, and then he makes out with his girlfriend before accepting the Academy Award, then that breaks all the boxes because there's no way to like typecast him one or the other. But what they're saying is that there are so few roles that are written for LGBTQ community, and then you have someone who's not in the community playing that role, and now they can't be seen as anything else. And I think that's where the issue is.
Erica, as you're talking, I remember I saw Hamilton in your town of Chicago, and George Washington was played by a 6'6" black man, and you know what? It was fine. Everybody was sobbing at the end of it. It was amazing. When you can act, it doesn't matter. So like us, like you said, just getting people out of the boxes, if you can act, it'll be just fine. That person will take you to a different place.
I mean, we've also gone the other way, right? Like Neil Patrick Harris going the other way. Ellen Page, openly lesbian, often plays a straight character. So I think you want it to be the best actor. Do I want there to be representation with actual gays in the industry? Absolutely. But in the end, it has to be, I think, the best acting.
I think what people would argue about that is that when Neil Patrick Harris was on How I Met Your Mother, and even Ellen Page, their sexuality wasn't even something that anyone was discussing. And was that by design? Because it gave them so much more flexibility to play these characters that we've 100% fallen in love with and believed them. If someone wanted to be open about who they were from the moment that they struck it big, would we be as open and flexible about that?
Interesting.
Great point. Let's see what the DBL Nation says. Should a gay actor have been cast as Elton John? 69% say no. But I totally get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Best person for the job, but I get the point that's being made. 100%.
Jeff, you didn't say you got what I was saying.
It's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day.
I told you that was coming back.
Reconcile.
Coming up on DBL, it's one of the hottest interactive museum exhibits in the country right now, and my wife and I went to check it out. Find out how we compare to the Renaissance genius, Leonardo da Vinci. But up next, Game of Thrones fans are going nuts for the new trailer that hit today, and they think it has some spoilers. You gotta look close. And what's up with Thrones star? Oh, just cutting it down to Thrones. Really chopping away at that prompter. Maisie Williams. Why are fans laughing after she raced off the Jimmy Fallon set? We have all the latest Got news coming up.
Big Chris, and Chris has a really good point. Say that. Say that.
I don't. What's the actor's name again?
Talk, Chris.
Yeah. What's the actor's name again?
Taron Egerton.
Yeah. So him and Elton John were both on Kingsman 2 together. So they have history working with each other in movies already.
So there's a trust there. There's a built there. There's a trust there.
Yeah. So it's not just some random guy. Like they know each other.
And then you think about like Will and Grace though. The guy who plays Will is straight in real life. Eric McCormick, and his sexuality is a big part of that show.
Do you want to talk about people? Look at this guy's name, Taron Egerton, but it's pronounced with a D in there.
It's not Egerton?
No, it is Egerton. What is it?
No, it's Edgerton. It's
Edgerton. Yeah, with a D.
But there's no D in there.
It's spelled E-G-E-R-T-O-N. So how could he get mad at you if you say, hey, it's Taron Egerton?
Yeah, like
Egerton.
He did correct someone, and I'm like, you shouldn't, that's a hard thing to get right, because you're literally making up a silent letter.
You got to be a big star
to be able to get that right.
Like, there's a letter in there that you're not pronouncing.
It's not
that's not even in. Yeah.
It's not even in there. That's like Colonel, when people are like C-O-L.
Oh, now I'm just going to get on fire. You could go back to what you were saying.
That's all I had was Colonel.
No, we were talking about the other thing. I cut you off. I wasn't really listening.
And then you just said, do you want to talk about people?
That's a good segue.
Okay. Also, what color would you call this? We got lilac or fuchsia?
I'd say it's a poop. It's a purple.
His Freudian slips are getting less and less covert. Thanks for the love.
I just said purple. I meant to say purple. That one wasn't even, that was real. That was like, I screwed up. Welcome back to DBL. I have 3 words for you. Winter is coming. Ooh. That's right. I should have been Jon Snow. We are only 12 days away from the Game of Thrones final season premiere, and just hours ago, a new eerie trailer titled Aftermath dropped. Let's see if we can look for some spoilers. Ooh, that was definitely Jon Snow's sword.
Yes.
There were some other hints in there. We're going to talk about, you want to talk about them now?
Well, no, someone might have seen Jaime Lannister's hand in there, so I just wanted to get that out there.
The old hand?
Yeah, the fake hand.
Erica, we're giving a little spoilers away. Was the camera on me the whole time? Let's move on. Fans are also talking about April Fool's prank Maisie Williams pulled on The Tonight Show. This was a good one. Arya Stark, she's my favorite character. Looks like she was aiming for a few laughs but received some awkward tension instead. Let's check it out.
When I found out that Arya died in like the second episode, I was...
What? That's a spoiler.
April Fool! Oh, she's my favorite character, so I wouldn't have been happy about that.
I know, you would have flipped out.
Yes, I think she's making it to the end. If Game of Thrones is a Big Brother house, she's winning.
Ooh. I'm with you on that one, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. All right, we're not done with Game of Thrones just yet. With a new season comes the new marketing blitz, but this year the hype is on a whole new level. Fans can feel fierce like the Dragon Queen with Game of Thrones makeup from Urban Decay, or stay warm during the long winter with a Johnny White Walker whiskey. And here's my favorite: HBO partnered with the Red Cross to sponsor a Game of Thrones themed blood drive. And look at this. The show came alive Sunday night at Bellagio Fountain in Vegas. Look at that. A 3-minute display of dragons and White Walkers appeared on the fountains. Oh, while their background music played. It was pretty sick.
I know that's lame, but I would have been so into it.
What do you mean lame?
No, like I would have been like.
Erica,
really
are you still with us or what?
I was gonna order the White Walker.
It is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Scotch.
The whiskey. That's
Erica,
hilarious.
you're missing Game of Thrones. You can catch up with 21 episodes. The director says it's 21 episodes that they've highlighted for us so they can catch up. People like you that are intimidated by the 7-year run.
I'm not intimidated.
It's a lot of viewership.
Are you really looking for that White Walker thing?
Yeah, now I'm going to see if I can get the throne. Hold on.
Oh, she's going to order
You
both.
definitely are a throne, more a throne.
She's more of a throne, yeah.
Look up that
you got to get the White Walker whiskey.
The drink on the throne.
And the throne.
See, Erica's into it. She's slowly
on board,
in. There we go. All
She's
right.
on board.
I'm very excited. 12 days.
$18,000
for the throne?
Yes.
It's made of real swords. It's got to be. It's
You mean
gotta
like Valerian steel or something?
So who do you think's going to end up on that throne?
I honestly think it's Khaleesi. I think it's Khaleesi, and I think Jon Snow, something happens because that's what we see, and that snow is Jon Snow.
Maybe he just dropped his sword because it was cold.
Yeah,
ran
he
inside.
tripped and dropped his sword. That's the promo they're giving us.
Have you ever dropped your keys?
It's not Dick Van Dyke Show over the armchair.
That one went over well.
What year is that reference from? Dick Van Dyke.
Wow.
Wow.
Are they
showing this? All right, so there's his sword, and it looks like he's dead.
That looks like a man that's in a hurry. And he's going inside.
That looks like the end, and the winter, and the White Walkers have won. I mean, that's what it sort of looks like.
No, that's what they want you to think.
Right.
You're falling right into their trap.
I did not see one hand.
I didn't see
Kelly
it.
says there was the hand there.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're tanking. Let's get out of here. What do you think? All right. Coming up on DBL, Leonardo da Vinci was born 500 years ago, and my wife and I were lucky enough to check out a wild new exhibit in his honor. Up next, we're going to try our hand at some of his art and his inventions.
It's Lex. I'm here with the DBL Digital team, giving you guys more top trending stories during the breaks here at Daily Blast Live. I was trying for you guys. I was looking for Tori. I was hoping that she was going to come over and do this break with me. We're still talking about Game of Thrones, so hopefully you guys are sticking around. And Tori's lost because I have some juicy gossip about Game of Thrones over here.
To get this special
Nothing.
$200 discount.
So, this trending story is about Joe Jonas, who obviously you guys know is with Sophie Turner. Apparently, he was on set for a lot of the taping of the new season of Game of Thrones, and he was really, really in on it, and he had to sign an NDA. So, for those of you who don't know, an NDA stands for non-disclosure agreement, and it basically says that you're not going to snitch, that you're not going to say what happens in the show. And this is pretty popular for any show that's being taped. I know The Bachelor has, so that you have no idea, even though sometimes we get some spoilers. And anyway, if you do decide that you're going to share any information from the show, they can fine you. So pretty serious that Joe had to sign this NDA. He apparently had to have his phone, his camera covered during the whole entire time. Which is pretty intense, I would say. Surprised they don't take your phones if you're on the set of Game of Thrones. But DBL Nation, apparently he's not a good secret keeper, so if you know him, he might know how it ends, and you could hit him up. Maybe he'll break his NDA. Bye!
Welcome back to DBL. My wife Jordan and I have 2 toddlers at home, and after a long, cold winter, we needed some inspiration for some new screen-free activities, so we headed to the Denver's Museum of Nature and Science to get the ideas from one of the greatest minds of all time, Leonardo da Vinci. Check this out.
You see the writing?
Yeah.
So he was left-handed, so you're left-handed too?
Yeah.
So instead of you ever like write and then smear your
all
ink?
the time in school. I'd have it like all down my arm.
So he made this up, so he wrote backwards so it wouldn't touch, the ink wouldn't touch your hand. So that's why everything's written backwards. So like to read it, you have to like hold it up to a mirror.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
You know how long that would take me?
You want to try to write something?
Yeah.
Put Jeff's the best.
Okay.
No, you have to start over here. See,
yeah, that's right.
Just start with Jeff. What? That's forward.
Oh, that's forward. Oh my God. Why am I doing it forward?
That was harder than I thought it was going to be. We did it.
We're idiots.
We're like Da Vinci. Can't even tell us apart. So like this is supported by this one. You get it?
Right.
All right. You want to try to build our own bridge?
Yeah, but Jeff's mainly going to be building this bridge. I'm glad I didn't live in these times because I would have failed at everything.
You'd be dead.
I would have been dead. I would have never survived.
Let's work together.
That's never a good thing.
Oh wait, there's like certain.
No. Hang on. That one. Look, that one's pointed down, and this is so it's like this.
Right.
And then, oh my God.
There, we can still get in like that, right? Just go. There you go.
There we go. It's built.
Storm the fortress. So you look in the mirror and draw yourself?
All right.
All right. Don't make me laugh.
Oh man, mine's terrible. I am no Da Vinci.
I'm pretty close. Are you close?
No, we'll just draw shoulders so I can be done.
What is that?
I'm drawing my hair.
All right, I count 3. Show me yours. I already took a peek at yours. 1, 2, 3.
Yours isn't bad.
Dude, yours looks scary. Is that scary? We'll be right back.
All right, Tori, we need a crossword.
All right, what day is it? Wednesday? Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
So if you guys don't know, the New York Times gets harder and harder as the days go on.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, the clue is 50 across. Add some throw pillows or pop of color around here. Also,
duvet.
Well, it's a long, long one. What do you do when
Comforter.
you want to
Feng shui.
Yep, you want to something, and it has to do with a dance move. You want to
Disco fever.
very close. You want to
Shake it out.
throw something. It looks so bland. Don't you want to just blank? You want to
Well, you just tell
jazz
us.
up the place?
No, that's not a term.
Yes, it
No one
is,
just
and it
says
refers to
jazz
Bob
up the
Fosse, who is also hidden in the puzzle. So you're welcome, all those who are out there. The other thing,
I
too.
think I might want to start doing the crossword.
Oh, it's the best. So I go on a forum every day. Rex does the crossword, and he tells you all about it. And then you learn about, he's already asleep, but you learn about words that you never knew before.
What are you
know
talking
I mean?
about?
The crossword. They're both asleep. Actually, there were Z's in my puzzle too for tzatziki. Not easy to spell tzatziki.
Oh, don't even.
That one was a hard one.
I went to a Greek restaurant yesterday.
Dude.
I go to Melita's right down the street. It's literally right down the street from my place. Best Greek food.
I love.
You're just talking about eating Greek food now?
They have tzatziki sauce.
Oh.
I love Mediterranean food. Like that's my.
It's also quite
simple.
healthy.
It's good.
It's fast. It's simple. It's healthy.
It's olive oil, greens.
Yeah. Feta.
Olives, feta, and what? Some marinated meat.
You should know. I haven't ate meat all of Lent.
How long has it been?
I don't know, Easter. I think
So
it's
that's
more than
Passover. So
4 days.
April 20th is your cutoff date, because mine Passover is the 19th, and so Easter's that Sunday. So you.
Now,
I feel like Lent is if you start on Ash Wednesday, you're supposed to go 40 days, but it's more than 40 if you go to Easter. I'm pretty sure.
Are
I
you
don't know.
gonna stay off of meat after Lent?
Once in a, you know what? The only thing I want is like a nice steak. That's
Are
like
you
the only
craving
thing.
it?
Chicken, I'm not. Chicken's kind of weirded me out lately, unless it's organic.
Some people are having some bird things going
I'm
on.
really. A chicken's this big
Yeah,
when
they
you
don't
leave
need to
this
be-
country. not a chicken breast that we have in America.
It's a weird thing. Like, honestly,
the thighs are like that big.
I think we get defensive when you mention any other country when you compare it to America. I'm just talking about just the eyeball test. When you see a chicken from another country, you're like, that's what they should look like.
I know it.
Our chickens look like turkeys.
Yeah.
It's really
They're like
weird.
the Rock version.
And it's just, it's growth
The Rock and
hormones.
Fast Five, just huge.
Enormous.
Yeah, the neck.
And it's like, what are you putting in your body? I know what you mean. I'm trying to do meatless Mondays, and then anytime they say, do you want to add a protein, I say no. I'm really trying to.
Hey, real fast, I mean, we'll tell them breaking news. So they arrested Nipsey Hussle's killer.
So Eric Holder, is it Eric Holder?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So, wow. Okay.
30. Welcome back to DBL. Guys, we are a live show. Usually we share comments right now, but we have some breaking news just into the studio right now.
Yeah, we are live, which is great. We are finding out that Nipsey Hussle's confirmed killer has been caught. He's in
alleged
custody.
killer.
Alleged killer.
Yes.
Did I say confirmed? I
Yes.
meant alleged, excuse me. Eric Holder, who the police put out an APB and asked for everyone to find the license plate, including that they have arrested Nipsey Hussle's alleged killer, Eric Holder, at this time in custody.
According to
CBS Los Angeles. That's it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, I mean, I wonder if he kind of turned. I don't know the story, guys. It's just breaking, so now we're just speculating on what happened. But I wonder if he kind of went to the police instead of.
Do you think he's going to be?
Route,
do you think he's going to be more safe in jail? He's going to have
Better
to be.
than on the
You thought
streets.
Tekashi 6ix9ine had to be put in solitary. They're going to have to put him in Rapunzel's castle. Like, he can't go in there anybody.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So it's just, I mean, he's really made enemies on the street. You know, with the police. I mean, he's really in a lot of trouble.
And they're still looking for the driver.
He really basically killed a civil rights leader. So
yeah,
a modern day civil rights leader. So.
Well, all things considered, I'm glad they got him.
I'm glad
they got him, and justice has been served. But a lot of repairing for the city and for fans of Nipsey Hussle.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Be nice to everybody.
That's right.